How is everyone doing tonight? Hopefully, some of you transitioned over from PK's live. The madman, he's live 53 times a week on Fanatics Live. He was live 3 minutes ago on YouTube, and then he's here with us tonight. So you can see, as in the thumbnail, PK and I are praying for the next Pokemon boom. We are so overdue. Where's this next boom? When's it coming? How's it going tonight?
It's going pretty good. This is normally my day off, but I did reach out to you. I said we need to have a conversation too. Plus, we got a lot of big things coming up on the channel. We got a mega stream coming up on the 30th, which is going to be exciting. I don't know. I haven't really heard much what kind of items I'm going to have. I got a lot of like sealed that I got to move through, which I hate moving, but
yeah, I bought some pretty crazy sealed collections recently. Almost all the PC ETBs, some PC ETB cases, there's booster cases, ETB cases, decent bit of slabs too. Nothing crazy. It's definitely more sealed heavy, but UPC celebrations, UPCs, 151 UPCs. There's good stuff.
Yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to that. I got another plan for like a singles mega stream that I'm gonna be talking about in the future.
I can actually send you some juicy singles too. Every Sword Shield, Alt and IR and Galarian Gallery. And I literally, I can't even lift both of them at the same time the way that I'm awkwardly sitting. This is every Scarlet and Violet. Just every chase card from Scarlet and Violet. I've never seen these top loader binders that are so big. It's a 4x4 top loader binder. It is so heavy. It is insane. These just came in yesterday.
That's some super modern juice too. I was kind of talking about this a little bit in my live. Why do you think people are selling out right now? Do you think it's just people are seeing the prices and they're starting to ask themselves like, this is life-changing money, I got to get out? Or it's just life events?
Yeah, so like I pretty much am on the I'm like boots on the ground hearing from these people that are selling out. I obviously never like to tie an individual story to an individual person, but like sometimes it's a wedding, sometimes it's a down payment on a house, paying off their house, paying off their car, paying off their student loans. Maybe it's I had a recent one where they were paying their tax bill. So one of the individuals was self-employed, big unexpected tax bill, no more no withholding. You need to withhold yourself when you're self-employed. So I've heard all the different stories, but in a lot of ways, it's kind of like reassuring that some people actually do sell in a boom. I always make the meme like price goes high, people want to buy it more, nobody sells, everyone buys high to sell higher, but some people do actually sell, and it's reassuring to see. Are they selling too early? Are they selling at the perfect timing? Time will tell.
If you sold a year ago, you sold too early. Captain Hindsight's very much undefeated in this hobby. But I brought it up in my live, and I think it's a good conversation. Like a lot of this low pop, high dollar vintage stuff, like a lot of this stuff, it's hard to shake out of people's hands because it's low pop, and people assume that like that they're not collectors, but they are. But they also paid a very high dollar amount for that card at the time. And a lot of this low pop stuff, like when you really want the best of the best at the time, for most seals, you're paying whatever the top of the market is, whether you pay the top of the market in 2016 or 2020, 2022, like for certain cards, you always have to pay the top of the market. Now, some of the people that are coming in, their bankrolls are so deep that what is it going to take for these cards to shake out of their collections now? And I just wonder, like, if in a 2-3 year timeline, like we're living in the best moment because everybody's having cards shaken out of their collection because they're looking at the values and saying, this is life-changing money. But I wonder if those dry up in 2-3 years. And then because at that point, low pop stuff gets even exponentially more expensive because there's zero other sales. And it's that ultimate FOMO is if I don't buy it now, I'll never have it.
Yeah. It's again, with hindsight, it will have been obvious the top was going to be there. This was going to 2x. This was going to 10x. But I'm still waiting for somebody to give like, hey, this is where these things are going to be in a year, 2 years. I don't remember any videos that people made 2 years ago saying that we will have boxes before their 1 year anniversary being $700. We will have ETBs 3 months after release that are $150, $200. I don't remember any of those videos happening, but now that it's happening, it's obvious the stuff only goes up, and I love to hear all the commentary post something big happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are confident in stuff going up. I think the reason people don't do that is because they don't know what. I think a lot of people just do the shotgun method. That's what I do. And I think you do a little bit, the Ascended Heroes. Yeah. But I think you do that too. It's just the shotgun method. It's just you close your eyes and you buckshot it, and you hope you hit the one that does. But and anybody who has done that method, I mean, they've been rewarded. Like, how many people go all? I'm going all in at Ascended Heroes right now in this moment. But but I'm not. Like, you know that every single product that's available at distribution, whether I want it or not, I'm buying it just to build allocation. So like, I'm still buying stuff. But yeah, Ascended Heroes is where I'm putting most of my money, is because for me, it comes down to very simple, as I think Pokemon is printing their max capabilities. And I think they're going to keep printing the newest sets. And I don't think we're going back and reprinting Ascended Heroes, because you can't have two things be true at the same time. You can't have Pokemon want scalpers gone and then print the set that's in the most demand. You have to just let Ascended Heroes go and focus on sets like Perfect Order and Chaos Rising and Pitch Black. You've got to pump those sets out, and you just got to let Chaos Rising run away. The same thing as they're not going back and reprinting Destined Rivals. And people are going to say, and I talked about this in my live earlier, people are going to say, oh, Pokemon's not going to do that because they're not going to leave money on the table. We are not in the moment right now today where Pokemon leaves a dime on the table. Like, you don't even get to buy product from distribution. You are allocated product from distribution, meaning 100% of whatever Pokemon prints is sold. And you don't even have a choice on if you want more. So for everybody who says Pokemon's going to print the sets that make the most money, it's people don't understand. Every set makes them the most money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this stuff is all auto sold. Nothing is really sitting. Years ago, I've been with Distro for 12 years now, 2 of them. Years ago, I used to get word from Matt Al that, like, hey, we have X amount in stock, and sure, if you want to buy your 6 cases of Evolutions, you can get them. But here's our reorder list. I have emails from 10, 12 years ago of what they could order from Pokemon and what they couldn't order from Pokemon. And one of the things that I used to do 10 years ago, one of my like routine ritualistic things, I used to look at what they had in stock that was on that was not on the list of what they could get from Pokemon. Like, if it was in stock at Distro and they could replenish from Pokemon, I would have a lot less interest. I felt like I had a lot more time. But I always took like the list of what they could get from Pokemon, subtracted away from what they had in stock, so that I could just get at that stuff that and I like 10 years ago, you could get sets that were 15, 16, 18 years old. You could get Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Triumphant blisters. You could get some black and white product. It's that is not a thing. That has not been a thing for quite some time now. It's crazy how far we've come.
Yeah, so like people saying, oh, Pokemon's going to print the sets that make the most money. It's just every set makes the most money. And
you know this as much. Yep.
Yeah, you know this as much as I do, is that the biggest people get the biggest allocations, duh. But people don't realize how many people are on the lower end of the spectrum of that list who are foaming at the mouth for allocations, and they will take it. Like, even if when people eventually do pass, you know, like them, for every one person that says no, there's 20 people standing behind them with their hands raised, says, I'll take it. Like, liquidity is infinite for Pokemon. I just hate that conversation is, oh, Pokemon's going to print the sets that sell best. It's like, they all sell the best. Like, get that out of your heads.
Yeah. So. One interesting, very anecdotal, I don't know if it means anything, but like, I haven't gotten check lane blisters. Some people might be familiar, like literally the checkout lane at Walmart, Target, whatever. It's one pack with a promo with a coin usually. I got check lane blisters for the first time in over a year with Perfect Order, and they just haven't offered me that SKU. Maybe there was a higher print run for that SKU than there had been in other sets, whatever the reason may be. But yeah, my distro reached out and they're like, hey, do you want this? I guess I could have and should have inquired. Almost felt like somebody was declining some amount of perfect order. Somebody wasn't taking their full amount. That's the first time that I've had that happen in a year. But I don't think I had those coming for Chaos Rising. So it was just like a random one-off. You always need to be careful with those things because like every distro is different. Every rep is different. Every account is different. And that could have just been like some random glitch in the system where I was on the phone with him. He showed one in the system and boom, he gave it to me.
Can you imagine not taking product right now today though? Like you would have to be over leveraged like, at a crazy degree.
It's funny. Like I got this. I don't think it was a reprint. I think it was we found some product restock, whatever you want to call it. I got called like 3 weeks ago at this point for 2 Twilight Masquerade booster boxes. And my rep was like 2 boxes, not cases, 2 boxes. And he's like, do you want them? He's like, they're pretty much at market. I'm like, I don't care what price they're at. You know, I'm saying yes. If they're 10% above TCG Player, send them along to me. It's distro product. It gets my numbers up. Like it's a silly conversation at this current moment.
Yeah. So, but like, no, I have heard people say that like when they talk about Ascended, but I just think, so I do come from the belief that I think Pokemon wants scalpers out, and the way to get rid of scalpers is not Ascended Heroes. It's just not. So for that reason, I think Ascended Heroes doesn't get like destroyed with reprints. I think Pokemon made a conscious decision with Prismatic Evolutions, and they thought that when they put out that press release, we're going to print the products that are most affected to max capabilities. I think that was a mistake. And I think you could look at a lot of the sets during that timeline, Twilight Masquerade, Surge and Sparks, Journey Together, Destined Rivals, all those sets that they chose not to reprint and kept printing 151, kept printing Prismatic. I think if they cut back, let Prismatic just run away, which they didn't. If they let Prismatic run away and they printed these other sets, I think the hobby today is in a better spot overall than just printing Prismatic. I think Journey Together was on, and I talked about this in my live earlier, Journey Together was on the cusp, on the precipice of a booster box reprint crushing Journey Together, and it just never came. So, yeah, product could have been on the shelves.
I hear, again, anecdotally, I don't know how widespread it is, but I know there's some locations where perfect order can be found. I actually have my old high school friend. I still live around him, and he's found dozens of packs of perfect order in the wild at MSRP. Wave 2 hasn't come yet. So, like, going to what you're saying, if Pokemon just lets Ascended go, let it become a $15, $20 booster pack later this year, which it very may well be, whether they're printing it or not, I think they could get perfect order boxes down to around 150. I think they could get them under MSRP. It's just like they've chosen not to. I don't know exactly why that is. There's all these different theories and everything, but yeah, I think, as you said, Journey was one that if they had wanted to, it was right there. Take 20% of what they had printed of Prismatic and instead turn it into Journey. Take a few percent from all those Destined Rivals booster bundle reprints, and why they're not putting anything in the box configuration, I don't understand the reasons behind what they're doing.
I think it's big box retail. I think those products don't sell at big box retail, so they're not focusing on those.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know. Like I've heard logical reasons behind why the most effective way to combat scalping is to go through big box, and then I've heard logical arguments as to why the best avenue is through brick and mortar. Like brick and mortar, like LGS.
Brick and mortar sells at market, so that's.
And
they sell at market. It's the same thing that GameStop is doing.
So I think both have some logic behind them. I don't know which one is more logical, more reasonable. I don't know which one is like more true, but I think certainly what they're doing. And I think Rudy made a video recently. I think he made a video recently where he's like, they're not reprinting booster boxes. He's convinced that they like want this. They want everything to be scalped. They want everything to be scarce. I'm I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn. I think they definitely benefit from everything being auto sold, but taken too far for too long, it can definitely have long-term negative implications, in my opinion. Like truly, the whole think of the children thing is there, and I don't generally buy into the whole think of the children argument. But 5 years of this, that is genuinely not good for the youth getting into it, and not good for 10, 15, 20 years from now, because a lot of them will not have interacted it in a reasonable way.
Did you see what Pokemon Japan just recently did, that you now have to perform like, I think they
answer some
like
quiz
government ID or whatever. Yeah, you got to actually like provide a government ID to buy from their Japanese Pokemon Center. So goodbye Tenzo accounts and stuff like that. Like, but is that really the biggest problem? Like, from my understanding, it's not people buying product from Pokemon Center that is causing Japanese prices or boxes to make it overseas. It's these Japanese stores with huge allocations. But like, that is one step, and I think that is Pokemon Company Japan's step of trying to limit scalpers and botters. And I mean, Tap hops into Fanatics Live all the time. If you guys don't know who Tap is the one that runs all the bots for the Rattle Discord. And, you know, Tap says he thinks that the only way to truly stop bots is you would need picture ID and then social security number verification. Like, he is that. And I'm not saying that's what he's asking for. I'm saying that's what it would take, in his opinion, because he says the bots will find a way around everything. So I'm not saying Tap is asking for social security numbers, but I asked him, I said, Tap, what would it take? And he said that's what it would take, because bots find a way.
I think, like, we're obviously doing this live from the US of A. I think over in Europe, there's a lot more strict laws around certain use of the internet and KYC, know your customer regulations and laws. And I think it wouldn't go over too well done here, but it is more of a thing elsewhere in the world. But yeah, like, I think there would be hundreds of thousands, if not a couple million collectors that would be willing to fully dox themselves to the Pokemon Center, upload their passport, upload their thing, type in their social security number. And again, I'm not like an expert in this whatsoever, but I have a SSA.gov login. I have a login with my state for my sales taxes and everything. ID.me. Like there are a lot of websites that I've fully input all that stuff into, and I don't know the technicalities. I don't know the implications behind like what the lift would be for Pokemon to like integrate with all that stuff. But theoretically, like, the technology is there. Do they actually care that much? Are they actually going to go to those lengths, to those extents? I don't think so, because like that feels like very high hanging fruit. I think the lower hanging fruit would be to just solve the botting more thoroughly. And again, I'm not a tech expert or anything, but the way that they call it like address jigging. People like, say you live at 1234 Main Street. You do 1234 Main Street A, 1234 Main Street B, 12 space 4, 12 space 34 Main Street. I think a lot of those things, AI, computer software, like Pokemon could sniff those out better.
That's exactly what I asked Tap, and he said they can't. So I don't know. I said you couldn't just have AI scrape all the.
There has to be a way. Like, you cannot tell me that there's no a combination of IP addresses and searching for the jigged addresses, and there's got to be more they could do if they wanted to. I like, they care some amount because they're implementing some amount of anti-bot.
The reshipper, he said reshippers in the United States are like infinity. So I don't know. That's what he would be a better person to ask.
It's a very interesting conversation, but it's fascinating.
But I don't think Pokemon wants scalpers. I don't think they want bots. I don't think they want negative publicity. It is a Japanese company. Like, when that stabbing happened and Pokemon Center, like, Japan Pokemon freaked out about that. Like, they shut down stores. They went crazy. Like, you have that Korean promo, which, again, I don't understand. Did you see that article? It was like a Korean promo. It was a Magikarp, and like 20,000 people showed up for it. And I think this is a problem too, is how people don't see how like the Van Gogh Pika promo release goes, how all these promo releases go. Like, how they don't foresee like this crazy demand. But I think all this bad publicity does catch up eventually. And if you were sitting down and you said, out of all the bad publicity that we are getting as a company, what is the number one, if you had to narrow it down to the one thing, and it's like scalpers, fights in Targets, Walmarts. That's the number one worst publicity we're getting. Like, yeah, there's stabbings, but like, what was the stabbing over? You know, it was like, I think it was a guy's girlfriend or something. But, you know, like the worst publicity they're getting right now is over bots and scalpers. And like, get rid of that. And the only way you get rid of that is you don't print and send it here. That's me. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. If they just, whatever amount they're going to print in the next 6 months, cut it down by 50% and put that all into perfect order and chaos rising instead. And it's right there. What are packs? A little over $6 a piece. What are boxes for perfect order? A little over 200, or are they like?
You can listen. You could say what you want about Pokemon Center, but Pokemon, just Pokemon as a whole. In the craziest hype, boomiest of periods of time, they managed to get a booster pack down to $6. Like that alone. Like, I think people think they look at the booster box prices, but they don't realize how impressive that is. That if you spend a day driving around your local neighborhood, you will probably be able to find a pack of perfect order from some avenue, whether it's your Walmart's or your Target. Like in this market, for that to be possible is crazy. And I give Pokemon all the kudos in the world. And not only that, they've done multiple things. They made it so you can still buy packs of perfect order and still in the exact same moment, you have a $1,200 PSA 10 in the Meowth. You know how that's not a thing in Pokemon to have $1,200 chase cards from $6 packs. But like, and not only a $1,200 chase card, a $1,200 chase card that there's only 6 SIRs in the entire set, and then 7 if you want to count the gold card, which isn't technically. But like, that is crazy that Pokemon has been able to navigate that. Like, that should be a case study to be studied in the future of how well they navigated crazy May 2026 Pokemon. And people are going to say, and the worst part is people are going to say Perfect Order is not a good set, and it has a PSA 10 Meowth that's greater than 4 figures. That's wild.
It's crazy what these ultra modern PSA 10 cards are, especially with the very high 10 rates. Scarlet and Violet was one thing, a lot harder to 10 them. I've got some of them right here. Harder to 10 your it's in the lower binder, but harder to 10 your Magikarp, and but that card being $4 or $5 the Moonbreon going back up above 4,500. The Ascended Heroes hits, the Dragonite, the Trikachu, the Gengar. Like, it is crazy what some of these cards are doing right now on PSA 10. Years ago, your first PSA 10 sale would be here, and your first single sales would be here, and then the next 6, 12, 18 months it would be going down. And now it's like the pre-order prices are here, and then it's like some of these things haven't even started cresting. We're booming.
I brought this question up. I want to ask you 2 things. One, is liquidity infinite in this hobby right now? And I say, is it infinite like for the average person? Like I said, if you have a collection like $250,000 to $2 million, which historically in this hobby, you have $1 million collection or $250,000 collection, you are in an upper echelons of this hobby, and like a top 1 percentile, and like people know your name and they're like, wow, he has a crazy collection. Now that's kind of like the norm, but you can move that instantly now, where like, and then, so that's the first question. And number one, when does the day happen? I think it happens soon, where why are you not getting approached more for somebody to just instant buy out everything you have? Like, to just, because, and what I mean by that is your best asset is, one, you have good capital, but number 2, you have an ability to source product. And people who have a lot of money, they can source everything from you. They can source hundreds of packs of every set, from Sword and Shield base to modern and everything. And you would instantly take all that money, because you know that there's not an item that you have that you can't easily replace. But for them, it would be a lot harder for them to go because they don't have your connections. And there's not, that's hard to put a value on that. When does that day come where you just get somebody says, hey, what are you willing to take for everything? 95% across the board? Because right now at Pokemon, the way it's working, everything keeps going up. And if they did that a year ago to you, think about how many millions that person would have made by giving you full market.
I'll start with, I guess I'll start with the first one. I'll go in order. I was going to go out of order at first, but liquidity for anyone operating below $10 million a year, $1 million-ish a month, for anyone operating, especially anything below 7 figures, liquidity is functionally infinite right now.
I was being kind. I said 2 million. He's saying anything below 10.
It's functionally infinite right now. Not at 100% of market. I'm not saying that if you have $5 million in Pokemon, you're just going to instantly get 100 million, or you instantly get 100%. But and this will tie into the second part. When I made my pallet video, a week or two ago. I had people messaging me, like 95% on all of them right now. Like it was, I did the video, spoilers, 750 grand value amongst the three. I had multiple people, and some of them, depending on how you want to call them, some of them were like funds. I know of some people that are running. Yeah,
can we preface this that I said this in my video earlier tonight, and me and you have not had this conversation before, because people are going to think that I had insider information, and I just already knew some of this, but I did not hear it from you. So
yeah, I only listened to the last 5 or 10 minutes of your live, and I didn't mention this to PK, but like when I made my video, and I've done some consults, I've done some consults where like there are wealthy individuals that just want to buy in 500 grand a month, $1 million a month, and they're like, oh hey, like you got a nice little cute operation there, you've got a couple $1 million in Pokemon, maybe can I just buy it all? And it's like, no, I need it for the live streams, I need it, like I need to continue all my other operations that I've got going on. But at some point, like it does. And it's interesting. I've had this conversation with some buyers at very high levels. Some people get hung up on themselves wanting to pay 90 and 95, and they're very like digging their heels in. At certain volumes, you just have to pay 100% and move the market.
You got
like you literally just,
or you pay 105, 110.
Be ready to pay 5 and 10% over what, like, because if you're buying $1 million worth of sealed product and you're trying to go into less than 4 or 5 SKUs, you are going to move the market. So like, don't dig your heels in so much at 90-95% market. Maybe do that 3 weeks into it when you've taken the 100% market. Buy everything at 100% market, and there's 200 grand spent, and then try to get 95% of that newer market that like, if that makes sense. And I've successfully convinced some high-end buyers to be doing that.
People don't realize too, like if you want a lot of stuff, you actually have to pay up to get large volumes. And where people think there's a weird misconception that the more you buy, the better the deal you get. That's not a thing. It's not the more you buy, there's I like at release and stuff, there's maybe a premium, but like given enough time, like no, the premium actually goes away, because it's like, go ahead, source one's single pack lots all day long if you want, or you come get a couple thousand from one person, one transaction, one time. It's like, what's your time worth? And I think some people come around to that, but I think that is probably a big misconception, that people think that by large volumes they get large volume discounts, and it's like, no. Sorry.
No, it goes the other way. You pay a premium, you pay more to get high quantity of high quality stuff, especially. But yeah, so the first part, like, reach out to me. I can't cash out a 7-figure collection myself, but I've had multiple people reach out to me with low mid 6-figure collection, and I've been doing my best to 80%. Actually, I just saw Brian Pokiani posted earlier today on Instagram. He spent 250 grand this week, and he's like temporarily pausing buying collections. So if you've got like a low 6-figure, 85%, and you want to sell, I'm there to cash you out on that. But there,
why don't you sell the pallets? Or maybe not the pallets. Just why don't you sell your inventory and just reacquire it too? Like,
That's literally what I'm doing every day. Like most of it is cycling. Most of it's constantly churning. If I logged into my DC Sports right now in my Arizona TCG, and I've got a lot of stuff out there. PK is going to be doing a mega in 9 days.
You're going to break Arizona TCG. I hope they watch this. So they just break whatever.
They mentioned that they do watch my channel, and I told them, I said in the email, I'm gonna send you stuff, and like if and when it ever isn't being a win-win, if I'm like bogging you down, just let me know, and I'll dial it back. But DC Sports I've been sending to a lot, and their turnaround time has gotten pretty rough. I've been sending to Golden. I've been sending a little bit everywhere.
When they first started offering consignments, Arizona was running at a loss for a little while because their rates, I was looking at their rates at the very beginning, and it was like, these rates aren't computing for this account. So they were running for a loss. I don't know what they've been able to work out, but I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you froze or if I froze. You might be still talking. Very good.
I was just lagging. I just closed a couple windows. I had too many windows going. but yeah, I was actually trying to open up a new tab while you were talking about Arizona TCG. I don't know how old their eBay account is. I'm actually going to look right now. They probably talked with eBay. So their account is old. Their account is 19 years old. But I think they only stepped into like Pokemon Consignment relatively recently. They must have been talking with eBay. They must have done the math on like, hey, we're going to lose X% for the first 12 months. If they lose 3% on $1 million, it's like, oh, that's 30 grand. And it's just like, do the math up front, know what you're going to lose. And I'm making up numbers here, but like to invest, like that's just an investment. I'm going to invest 50 grand, 100, whatever the number was over the next 12 months so that I can get that contract, get that rate down.
Like I said, I just thought that was, I thought that was impressive because you don't see a lot of people run it like that. Whatever the conversations I had with eBay or didn't have, I thought it was interesting. I like when I first read the numbers, or I looked at the numbers, I was like, I don't know. I kind of know what other people's rates may or may not be. So like these are interesting, but plus they try to make money.
Yep.
But
yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Why don't you sell your pallets? Why don't you just take ultimate liquidity and just start over? What's the dollar amount? It's like, okay, you said no at the 95. It's like everyone's got a price.
So the pallets are like forced one.
Dan, what's the price to buy your pallets and then you just go replace the pallet?
That's the thing. If somebody
replaceable.
If somebody got silly about it, if somebody offered me 120% of market, I take it and I just reconstruct exactly what I have. But
can I make a friendly wager with you?
Yes.
What do you think the chances are? And then I bet you there's people crunching numbers right now, figuring if they want, because they'll know they'll get everything, right? And besides pallets, everything you have at 120%, and I know what I have.
Tomorrow's discount. I mean, I know what I have. 6 to 12
and they lock
months,
it in,
like
20% off of. You got hundreds of packs of every, and that's outside the pallets. You got hundreds of packs of every set from Sword and Shield base. I mean, I think like every set, 350 packs of at least of each, and then you multiply that times every set. I mean, talk about a well-rounded portfolio. I bet you get 120%, and I bet you. I think it's a good buy if somebody did that. I think it's cheap.
I mean,
I think you give you the money and make you go source it all back.
My DMs are open if anybody wants to buy me out at 120%. But part of the reason the pallets came into existence too, like multiple reasons, but one of the primary reasons is that I'm at a point where like my capital exceeds my time. And if I were to liquidate the pallets, and half that's my dad's money. So if I were to liquidate the pallets and retain my portion and pay my dad out in cash, that would be an additional $400,000 of liquidity nearly for me.
But it's more than that because it's everything. And you're just talking. You got the pallets.
I'm talking just the pallets. I'm not talking everything. Like everything is constantly churning, always for sale. And I'm working full weeks right now. I'm at max capacity. If I had an additional 400 grand in liquidity, I wouldn't have enough time to relabel stuff and send it to DC and to Golden and the Arizona TCG. Like I'm maxed out right now. I'm keeping the streams fed and shout out to Bierski, his shop down in New Jersey. Like I have a lot of outlets.
I think if they gave you 120% last year, though, how much money they make?
Yeah.
I think your total inventory, your whole inventory last year, it's the same deal, same percentage, 120%. You take it, and that it's a win-win. They would make how much they? I mean, you have your pallet video, whatever. It may went up 100% this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they would have paid 120. It's worth 200. You know, like, and they don't do any of the work. And the thing is, I think you're underselling what the value you bring, because your product's golden. You know where it's sourced. It comes from you. It's not. It's the cleanest, best product that's out there. Fuck, I opened Ascended Heroes. I pulled 6 God packs. Like, Ascended Heroes, all unweighed. It's all unweighed, perfect, untampered with. Comes with seals of approval from all 3 of us, me, you, Ponga, and then you can just source product. And instead of moving it to DC and stuff, you're just now reacquiring, and then you wait for another buyout to come at another 120. You just rinse and repeat that. And like a couple big buyers, and I already know that they're coming through and they're looking for stuff like this. And these have been conversations that I've been having, but you're right. They need to get out of that 90 to 95% window, and they need to and the thing is too, is they're going to lock in prices too before they get it. And by the time they get some of this shit, if the market keeps doing what it's doing, like,
but by the time I loaded up the truck, like, and it got to them, they might be at 100% of market instead of 120.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, I'm just looking at so much stuff that I had. I never had a collector's app. I downloaded collector's app, and I just added, like, I was like laying in bed adding stuff that, like, off the top of my head that I had, and it's like, wow. So
I've thought about creating. Honestly, I probably should, because it's just there. I should just create. You can do folders. I've been buying out a lot of people's collections recently, and collector. It's not perfect. None of them are perfect, but it's great. Yeah. It's great. They'll have a folder for their Scarlet Violet, and a folder for their Sword and Shield, and a folder for their Sealed. And I'll bid 80%, 85% on by folder, and like we'll come to a number, and it's great for stuff like that.
Do you remember 2 years ago when we were sitting in Rusty's house? Do you remember they asked Rusty the question? They said, "Rusty, what's your buyout price?" Do you remember that? Do you remember what he said?
I don't remember the number.
He said 10 million. Dude, his collector app is public. And so like just what he has publicly available is over 10 million, not including obviously
and all the crazy stuff.
Everything. But his buyout price was $10 million. If somebody in that room was well capitalized, you would have paid well over market for all that stuff. You would have paid 10 million to him when he said that number in front of everyone in the room. And like, I could see people's wheels spinning. It was like such a big number that everyone was like, but you would have had everything, and you would have turned 10 million into who knows? Who knows? What's the most recent base set first edition sheet sold for $1 million, right?
Yeah. Some of that
for $1 million. So that's one item would have been a 10th. And you would, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it that way. And it's just, there's a lot of people making a lot of mistakes. People should be buying out people and giving the money and the liquidity. And then you get a superpower too, is you got ultimate liquidity, and you can just buy stuff and you don't have to turn, and you can just, people are not using people to their proper strengths and weaknesses. This is a whole nother rant I have, but I just don't think, I think the people who have a lot of capital, who don't have the time or knowledge, are just not utilizing the right people. They're just not.
Well, and I'll say this, I've been in those conversations, some of them with companies, some of them with well-capitalized individuals, some of them with some of these like funds or whatever. I've been deployed as a strategic buyer from time to time by different entities, and that's becoming more of a thing.
It is, but you can't. That's such a logistical nightmare for them, because they want to pay you a salary. It's like, I'll pay $100,000, pay $120,000. This is what they want to pay you, a salary. They don't want. They're not giving you there's some people out there, they're kind of giving free range and giving them a lot of money and go buy, but that's a whole nother story. But they want to give people like a salary. They don't want to say, go use your own capital, buy a bunch of stuff. And then that's not the conversation. And I think the problem is with the institutional money too, from the conversations, is I think there's a misunderstanding that everyone who thinks that this big money is smart money. It's not all smart money. They're getting there, but they're coming in at so much of this stuff wrong, Dan. And I mean that. Like they don't. And I go back to when Charlie was on my live, and I quote what he says. The thing that I took the best out of it is Charlie said the thing that he was most amazed at, because Charlie was one of the real first professionals in the hobby, like consultant, him, Radar, probably like two of the first, Charlie being a real one, because John being a real one too, but Charlie like being one of the real high-end one, because he was brought on at CGC. Like everyone knows CGC. They only got into trading cards in July of 2020. And 2020 is only 6 years ago. And Charlie was one of the real true first industry experts brought on as a consultant. And that's so wild to me that he was one of the first 6 years. Going Squeaks has done stuff, and like people have done stuff in the background, but it's crazy.
And I'm going to highlight this one because it's relevant to what we're talking about right now. You guys just talked about not getting a discount on buying large volume, yet you're buying six-figure collections at 80%. One thing I'll say, 6 figures is not that large volume. I know to the individual, to many people, it will sound like it's a large volume. To these institutional type people, 100K is not much. And one thing that I'll say, like when I'm buying someone's collector,
and it's not repeatable. I don't think people understand. Big money wants repeatability. They don't
want to buy that weekly.
They want to buy that sellers daily. Selling $100,000. They want one guy they go back to every couple months or monthly. Or the problem is, I'm sorry, I cut you off. The problem is these big buyers, they keep finding people and they have unrealistic timelines too. I want you to do this every month. Here's a couple million, do this every month. And it's like, that's not really the way it works too. They're not given enough free range. They don't understand it though. Sorry.
And one thing I'll say too is like, I buy what comes. Sometimes what comes is like great, and it's exactly what I'm looking for. And I should have mentioned this earlier. I DM'd him quick on Discord. Shout out to Mitty Timmy. He's actually in our he was in our chat earlier. I didn't know if he wanted to be shout out. I couldn't remember. And I never will share information unless they ask. Where'd he go? But sometimes what comes along is great. There he is right there. Nice binder. It was the ones that he sold me. But sometimes what comes along is great, and it's exactly what you're looking for. And I do get exactly what I'm looking for at 80%. But many times I'm taking it's like that one evolving case, that couple sword and shield cases that I would love to have more of. And then it's like I'm paying 80% on Destined Rivals at 720. And some people think that's amazing and they would love to be able to do that. I want to just flip that and make my 10% immediately because I'm not a huge fan of that right now. But again, like relatively speaking to the big dogs, 100K, not very repeatable, very spotty. And that's like that's quantity of a wide variety of things. That's not just like 100K into Ascended Heroes ETBs. That's not 100K into just prismatic booster bundles or something like that.
And they need to go in and they have to like spot check these collections and stuff. And like they don't want to do that stuff. I don't think people understand the time that it's involved in like going in and making sure a lot of this stuff is here. And like maybe people don't, and I've used to make the same mistake in the past. Like I never used to value my time enough. I value my time more today. And I think people don't realize the amount of time that comes in to just verifying that the collection you bought is the collection you bought too. Like,
yeah, I bought a $124,000 collection. Was that earlier this week or last week? Man, I can't even keep track of days anymore. We're booming so hard. But I bought that, and that my garage is that everywhere. A lot of that's going to PK soon for his mega stream on May 30th. But that was cumbersome. That was a big process to go and get that and get it all brought in and cataloged and verified against the list. And it's just and that's only $124,000. Imagine
one guy, one time.
Yeah. Imagine trying to, and I've been in calls with people saying, Dan, I want $1 million a month of Pokemon. I would need to do that 8 times in a month. Like, I couldn't physically do that 8 times in a month. One, they're not there. There's not 8 of those collections a month. And then 2, even if they were, I don't have the capacity or the man hours to process 8 of those collections in a month, because that one collection will be over a week. Yeah,
and then they won't want to pay you for your time, too, or
no,
their dollar. They don't have the numbers right. Their numbers are wrong when they talk about doing this. Like,
yeah,
the people who can source collections like that consistently, you're not going to pay them $100,000 a year to do that for you. You're just not. Sorry. You're just not.
It's the thing where you run into, like, they don't want to pay enough. Anyone who would have the expertise to buy those and source those is worth $30,000 a month or more in this market, and no one's going to want to pay that. They're gonna think it's easier than it is, and yeah.
That's I know it. It's the biggest hurdle that they're going in. And listen, I made the joke before. I said I thought Pokemon was in like its teenage angst, and I said I think I went back on that in my last live, and I said I was wrong. I said Pokemon's still in its infancy, because it truly is. And
just like $700 Destined Rivals booster boxes, Pokemon still got poopy diapers. It's not even fully walking yet. We are so early.
We are. Hashtag we're early, chat.
Hashtag poopy diapers. We're early.
One thing that I'm noticing too is I as I'm starting to see this hobby at like higher levels too, it's giving me a different appreciation. I don't know if it's making me more bullish or what, but me and you have had a great conversation in the past, and I'm sure you probably remember this. It's like 20 years from now, me and you are going to be at a bar somewhere, and we're going to be having a beer, and we're going to say that was crazy. Now, are we going to say that was crazy because we were stupid because of irrational exuberance? Or are we going to say that was crazy because, like, oh my God, we were early, like, what a ride? But either way, that beer will be drank. But it's just,
we will be saying it was crazy, but yeah, from what perspective?
What perspective? And are we going to look back on it in 20 years and be like, what were we thinking? Think if we sold. You remember? What if we just sold? Like, or we're going to be like, I can't believe we even considered selling. Dude, how that would have been a nightmare.
See, this is the YouTuber way to say it, though. Like, it is so obvious from what frame of reference we will be having that discussion. Yes, it goes without saying. So we won't say it. You know, I know, the viewer knows. Like, we just won't say it because it's so obvious. And then in 20 years, we will confirm while we're having that beer. We'll do it live. We'll confirm how obvious from what perspective it was. Everybody knows. So it doesn't even need to be said, whether it's the bearish side or the bullish side.
But no, I did enjoy that conversation we had, because it does make you think.
And that's the reason that you can buy them at that 75, 80, 85% is because there's a lot of work there. There's a lot of time waste there. There's a lot of conversations on a collection that don't come to fruition, that don't lead to a final collection buy. Like, there's a lot of logistics there. There's risk, there's time, there's capital.
And those can be scary buys too for both you. Like, I mean, you start broadening out too much. Like, you do, because you're going to open yourself up to all that risk too, you know? Like, the amount of resealed stuff, fake stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't, it's tough you don't want to go too far out of your comfort zone too. Like, just because this product's out there doesn't mean you always want to have to go get it. And like, that's where reputations matter and stuff. Like, where'd you get this stuff? And then if it is tampered with or whatever, it's like, how many chains down the line are you going to have to go back? And I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, there's a value in that too, not having to worry about where it comes from.
And that's part of where the birth of the pallets came from too, is that I want to know that it's like my stuff that I had. Like, in 2030, when I re-unearth that pallet number 1, that is the Crown Zenith that I put on there myself. That is the 151 UPC cases. That's the stuff that came from my distro. the chain of custody is fully there. The provenance is there. I have zero concern over that stuff being resealed or any kind of issue. And I actually, they're by the day they're diminishing. But like I remember a couple years ago, or maybe it was a year ago. Again, time frame is just impossible to tell. I bought a sealed Mario and Luigi. They're up there. They're kind of like off camera. But on a whim, it's like I want to try to grade a black label. I kind of want to try to grade a black label Mario and Luigi. And it was scary to go out into eBay and to look around. And it's like I don't really want to just buy from anybody. I want to buy from somebody who bought from the Pokemon Center. So I paid a slight premium to what the market was at the time. I actually bought from SM Pratt. I bought from the man himself. I shot him a DM and I bought some from him, and I opened them up and I got wrecked. My full art Mario Pikachu was a PSA 9 quality, so that didn't pan out that well. But
you sold too soon. If you held on to it, you would have been fine.
I know. I ended up like only losing a little bit, almost breaking even. But yeah, hindsight, it would have been easy, just hold and. But you know that $200,000. What the black label full art Luigi go for 200 and something grand? I think just like the Bubble Mew did recently too.
Yeah, the Bubble Mew broke 200, but I saw the Gengar from Ascended hit 85 G's in a black label.
Imagine that Bubble Mew. It went for like eerily close to what pallet number 1 is currently valued at. You could have Sword Shield cases and 151 UPC cases and all these like packs and ETBs and cases and all this different product, or what one Bubble Boy, one bubbly Mew boy.
Are there new McDonald's Pikachus? I mean, $22,000. I mean, no brainer, right? Buy Pikachus at 22 G's.
Let's see. Is this one black label quality? Is this a $200,000 card in my hand right here?
They're all black label qualities.
If I hold it far enough away, it looks just like a black label. At this length, I mean, this is definitely a black label. I would say it's not a black label, though. It might be. I'm going to grade this. This is a PSA 10, I think. I don't think it's a black label, though.
So, speaking of black label plays, I bought this card because I was like, oh, this is going to be an easy black label play. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, yep.
Perfect 10. I get the card in hand and I look and I'm like,
not too perfect.
It's crazy off centered. It's like not even close. Like,
is it more off centered than the 10 is inside the little box?
I wouldn't grade this expecting a 10. It's so far off centered, and it was a perfect 10. Old label CGC.
And it's funny because I've personally graded, and I've also seen black labels that are not black labels. It's like
that is not a perfect 10. Let's put it that way.
Consistently inconsistent applies to all of them. Generally speaking, the average perfect 10 is better than the average Gem 10 at PSA, is better than the average pristine gold label. I think, but like there will be discrepancies. There will be ugly ones too, for sure.
And the way I'm sending cards now to PSA, I'm only sending black label candidates to PSA because it's gotten crazy, man. Like my most recent sub, I did like a little panic sub when they went up to 50 cards because they gave you that little window. And I had some like real questionable ones that I sent. It was like a 29 card submission. And I sent like the cleanest copies. And I have no expectations of 10s. Like dude, everything's crazy right now.
Yeah, I actually bought a big vintage collection of like Japanese vintage stuff. Some of these Japanese jungle, Japanese fossil, the common cards are like obscene. This lot had been picked over for the Pikachus. It had been picked over for a lot of the crazy stuff. $4,000, $5,000 PSA 10 Japanese-based Pikachus. But Skya helped me facilitate that one. Skya submitted in April 27th and April 28th. He submitted about 1,000 cards, maybe 800 to 1,000 cards that are all they're all just what in my mind are 5-cent, 10-cent cards that now are hundreds of dollars. Even in PSA 9, that's the crazy part too. The 9s aren't even that punishing. Some of the 9s are, but in 6 months, will I get destroyed? It absolutely could happen. I have $25,000, $30,000 in grading fees looming there.
You owe me a CGC sub that you're supposed to get to me today for 200 cards, but I think I already
sent that. Yeah, you sent that at like this was the worst day for getting a CGC number back from me. I always 24 hours is my goal. I think you sent it at 11 a.m. Like you probably sent it 10 minutes after I finished replying to everyone's from yesterday and last night. I just had calls and meetings. I had my family over tonight. I made a dinner and stuff. And it was just, it was a crazy day. But you will get it back within 24 hours.
Yeah. So I sent 200 cards this week, 60.
Was it like 11 a.m.?
So 200 cards this week, 60 last week, 160 the week before, 300 the week before. So in May, so 460, 520, 720. I sent, so did 720 cards this month.
You want to hear what all of May was from everybody?
Yeah. So how much?
Let's see what percent you are. May so far has been almost exactly 10,000. So you're like 7% of the CGC fanatics right now through me, and that's counting my own too.
That's not bad.
I've actually been slacking. You've almost sent as much as me. Yeah, I've only sent 800 so far. I think I have like 3,000 on deck. I just don't want to send 3,000 at once. I just bleed them in like a few hundred a week, and that number is constantly going up. That number will go up from what these binders are behind me, and the amount of 4 rows that have to be gone through, pulled out of the top loaders, checked over for grading, and you and Ponga both have a lot of nice singles coming to you. It's just bottlenecked on getting them to you.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah, I have a bunch of like high-end singles from you that I ran it past you. Like I want to do a mega stream, but like I have, this is your high-end single pile, which I just can't really run all the time.
Yeah. Monthly megas are nice though. Well, twice monthly megas now is the tentative plan moving ahead.
I feel like there's no questions being asked, or is there?
I did start a bunch. So I can start going through the questions. What was it like when Celebrations launched, and in the same month Fusion Strike launched? It seems like we're getting sets very close together in release. Rayquaza set 30th, and then Aura Seeker. I don't even know what Aura Seeker is.
That's the first time I've heard that name. And maybe that was a copyright thing. Maybe Pokemon copyrighted. I don't keep up to date with that.
I'm not the big spoiler guy. I don't keep up with it all. I do know that like Pitch Black is the set. Pitch Black though isn't the Rayquaza set, right? Pitch Black and then Rayquaza sets after it, I think.
Yeah, so it's Abyss Eye or whatever is a Japanese set, and it's gonna be Pitch Black in English, the same set. But yeah, that's gonna be the Mega Darkrai set.
Mega came out like today, right? Or tomorrow, I mean tomorrow, I think. With it dropping, I'm surprised you and Ponga hadn't messaged me yet. I'll probably hit up Retro, shout out _retrospecs on Instagram for your Japanese Pokemon needs. I'll probably hit him up like this weekend to get you guys some early next week. It's weird with it dropping the same day as a Pokemon, an English Pokemon release. But yeah, I'm sure people will want some amount of that.
The question's asking, the question asked, what was it like though?
I remember, the only thing I remember about Celebrations at launch is that it was so plus EV to rip, and I was just ripping, and I wasn't even grading. I was ripping and selling raw. And in hindsight, it's funny because like I remember selling the Charizards for like $200-300 a piece, and now what's the PSA 10, like $800? I don't even know what that card is raw, but that card raw is probably just getting back to what it was the first couple of weeks of release.
I remember Celebrations was the first set that had a product that I did not like easily get. Charizard UPC, or not Charizard UPC, excuse me, Celebration UPCs. Like if you didn't get Celebrations UPCs from distribution, like it was so hard. I got one through bestbuy.com in the queue, and I never used Best Buy really before because it was so hard to get. And those things sat at 300 right off the rip and didn't move for a long time. And then Fusion Strike was pretty expensive at release too. I'm pretty sure I could probably go pull up like old purchases or whatever, but yeah, and then Fusion Strike just got its reprint and crashed down.
Yeah literally up through Surging Sparks, every set was available. The box is significantly under $100, under 120 certainly. These last 16, 18 months are unprecedented. They've gone on a lot longer than I expected them to. They might go on a lot longer still. We might not be halfway through. We might be 3-5 years out from this all coming around, but also
who knows what happens with the prints. You know, the print facilities, everybody's saving grace, but it's like, I have no clue, but like how much demand. So you build this facility probably to like be able to print to higher than the demand is, right? So is it like a 2x, a 3x, 4x? Do you build a facility to like 10x? So hopefully if Pokemon continues to grow, you could like meet that demand in the future. Or does Pokemon build a new facility for 3x demand, and by the time that thing is open, the hobby keeps growing? You know, if you told me from 2020 to 2026 the hobby would have doubled, I would have said you're crazy, and I would have been so wrong, because we've over doubled from there, like demand. So what happens? They build this facility and demand just 2x's from now, and it's like just the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It'll definitely, as with everything, it will be obvious in hindsight, but I have no clue what's going to happen. Basic wants to know, if he sells right before he dies, what are my tax implications? It's very, very good tax strategy to just die, and then your heirs get the stepped up cost basis.
Yep. Well, they'd just be an inheritance at that point.
Yep. And most people fall under, what's the limit? 10 million, 20 million?
10 million.
It's a pretty big number. Yeah, it's a pretty big number that most people don't go above. And your heirs get stepped up cost basis, and they're you save a lot of money that way.
Yep.
In a lot of ways.
You gotta really time it right though, basic. So
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and as always, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll be live. I don't know until exactly when, but Hot Singles had a bunch of questions in a row. What's up with the new prismatic SPC case labels? They have all items made in USA, but still have street date in them, old initial stock. I am not a very observant individual. I did get some reprints from both my distros. I think some of the recent collections that I bought actually had a reprint SPC cases as well. But PK is going to go check for us. I don't have them accessible from where I am right now. Otherwise, I could go grab an old case and a new case. And one thing, though, before PK gets back, my dad was over tonight. I had my family over, my sister, my dad, my dad's parents. I'm building a warehouse later this summer for Pokemon. So I'm excited. I don't know if I'll film from there ever or do lives from there. But being able to go to the pallets, being able to look, let's see what we've got on our case there.
It does say not for sale on the very bottom, so maybe
that's probably
before 5/16/2025. But who knows? Like, that could just be something that's just, we have the label, we print the label. I don't know.
That's it could be so many different things. All the theories out there about distro holding back product, and it could be stuff that distro sat on and invested in for X amount of time. But I think that came from every distro.
Dropped UPCs.
That's the thing.
Same time. It wasn't a one-off. It was everybody did it. So that I don't put.
If it was just one or two of them, it's like, okay, maybe something fishy is going on here. But hey, maybe we got some cross distro collusion going on. Hey guys, this is the one. This is the one that we're gonna invest in. We're gonna do a reprint wave in a year, and we're all gonna release it for triple the price of what the initial.
On the same
highly
week.
Doubtful, but yeah. If you were an LCS owner, would you pass on the credit card fee to the customers and promote cash, or would you eat the fee and bake into your product prices? I think the way that most places do it, and the way that would be the best way to do it, is like it's baked in. There's technically no fee to pay with credit card, but like if somebody comes in wheeling and dealing and buying a lot of stuff, cash is always going to get the best price. So it's like there's not really a cash discount.
It depends. I've ran into a couple issues where I'm like, do you guys take cash? And the guy give a discount for cash, and the guy says no, and I just put it right back in my wallet, give him my card, and I could see it in their face when they say no. So
some places truly don't, but I think generally speaking, most of them do. If I was an LCS, just for simplicity's sake, most things it would be like the price is the price. I'm not going to give you a discount if you're going to pay $200 cash or whatever. But if you're doing a deal, like if somebody's trying to buy out 20K of higher end slabs or higher end whatever that I have, like, yeah, there's going to be because the processing fee alone is 3.5% or whatever.
I don't want to go on a LCS rant, but dude, not all game stores are created equal too. Like how some of these guys manage to survive is beyond me. How some of them just have nothing.
This is a good shout. I mean, I actually wouldn't mind talking about it for a minute. We can shout out the homie Bierski. He just opened a shop last weekend. We can shout out the homie Java. He opened a shop a little over a year ago. I think he's quickly, or maybe a little under a year ago. I think he's very quickly coming up on his 1 year anniversary. But Bierski, he came up like a month ago, 6 weeks ago, whenever the hell that was. I guess Pokey Fest was 6 weeks ago, about 5 weeks ago. So it must have been like 7 or 8 weeks ago. Bierski came up. Between Utica, New York, and Syracuse, New York, we hit like a dozen to 15 LGSs around me. And if I were to tell you that 0 of them had more than 5 sets, so I heard you talk about it a little bit in your live stream, but like when PK goes live, he has 30 sets available, all in stock, all like very close, reasonably priced, right around market price. Usually a little bit above fees and all that stuff. But if I were to tell you that like out of all the shops Bierski and I went to, there wasn't one that had like 5 sets available. Barring maybe there was one. There wasn't one that had 5 sets available within 10% of market price. There, at the time that Destin Rivals was $7 or $8 a pack, there was one of them that had Destin for like 14 a pack, 12 a pack, and maybe they had a random Battle Styles booster box that was $50 above TG player price. But Bierski and Java run their sourced by me, fulfilled by, or not fulfilled, but sourced by me, stocked by me. They run it just like PK and Ponga run their streams. And in doing that, I think they're in the 99th percentile of LGSs across the country for variety and fair prices in sealed product. Like,
is that crazy though?
It blows my mind because it's like I think it's
free money though. Like for them, it's like free money as in have product for people to buy when they walk into your store.
And like, I guess to be fair, like they're a little
the business model. We don't like to make money. Like we don't want stuff available for people to buy. Like what? Is it a capital? Like they have too much money tied up to just what is it?
And this is a conversation that I had a little bit with, I guess to an extent, both Java and Bierski. But like there is some volume that if Java hit me up every week, Dan, I need 720 more 151. Dan, like Java, I can't fulfill that. And the next conversation we would have is like start charging 105%, 110, 100. But we would never, I don't think we would ever have the need to go to 150% of market like a lot of these stores are, to go to 180% of market. And the thing that boggles my mind, the thing that blows my mind, if they're charging 150% of market, how do they not have at least 10 sets? Have the last 10. Like literally go to eBay, go to TG Player, buy the boxes at full market, put them out pack by pack in your store for 50% above. Like, why would you not do that at the bare minimum? And maybe someone could give me pushback. Oh, Dan, like they do that, but they still can't keep it in stock. Like, I don't believe you. I think these places are just not selling packs. Like, how do you not do that? That blows my mind. And again, shout out to Java, shout out to Bierski. I don't think they're doing anything revolutionary. I think I'm a good sourcer, but like some of these LGSs, like
because the LGS model is I only buy at 70% and then shit doesn't walk through the door at 70% and they say I can't source product. Like it's crazy. Like
it blows my mind. I've said it before that I don't think I'll ever own an LGS, but if the right person, man, if the right person, if there was a PK, a Ponga, a Java, a Spat, a Grimer, a Bierski, if there were any of these guys within 30 minutes of me, a Skya, and they had the passion and desire, and they had the grind, and they wanted it, Ethan, 1 year till you graduate, you know where I'm at. The shop that I couldn't run it, I could not be the day-to-day, I couldn't be all that stuff, but like the partnership that could be there and the supply that I could offer. And it's like, man, we would have, and again, like Java's got a great shop model going on. He's crushing. Bierski's got a great shop model going on. Only one weekend, but he's crushing so far. Like, what are we doing out there? These different LG, and I'm sure there are some that are great, but like, man, they're not within an hour of me. Or maybe I missed them. Some were close, to be fair. Maybe there are a couple within an hour of me, but like the ones we went to.
But what do you? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get like too deep. I want to kind of move on.
Let's get deep.
The question is, why does that exist? Like, why don't you just have stuff? Like, I don't get it. Is it like you can't source? And if it's like you can't source, why do you own an LCS too? Like,
some of them might sell at MSRP and their stuff does just go, and it's like, okay, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that underlying model or whatever. And like Java and Bierski, the way that we're set up, our relationship, they can't be that. They can't be like everything's going to be MSRP. So the only argument that could justify them having nothing is like, well, they're MSRP only. But I can get, I don't say this word often, I guarantee that is not the case for all 12 to 15 stores we visited. That's just some level of incompetence. That's some level of, and maybe they're like, Bierski is 100% Pokemon currently. Java's probably 95+% Pokemon. Most of the LGSs were heavier into Magic or heavier into sports cards, or some of them were Pokemon was their primary. But
they're not capitalized. Like, they don't have the capital to stock this stuff.
Like, literally every Monday, spend $1,000 on your credit card and stock 3 booster boxes, and then like once they sell, do it again, and then do it again, and then like, because when you price at 150% of market, it's so silly because like you literally just buy from, like, it's not there's no effort. There's no effort behind
like running out of paper towels in your house, and you're like, we're never gonna have paper towels ever again. This is it. You use the last one. Or how do we replace these? Go buy more.
One thing that people throw me off with on occasion is like, oh man, it's so hard to find Ascended here. It's not hard to find anything. It is not hard to find Ascended. It is not hard to find Prismatic. It's not hard to find Descend. Like a lot of it. Now, if you want $1 million worth, okay, it's hard to find that. But like, if you want to spend $1,000 into anything, sure, you can't go to Target and pay MSRP. You can't go to Walmart, Costco, Sam's, whatever. You can't go pay MSRP. You can't pay the price you want. But if you want $1,000 in Destined Rivals, eBay.com, Amazon.com, Walmart.com. Not going to be Walmart at MSRP, but like some reseller on Walmart. It's there, I promise. It is there in consumer level quantity.
If you want to pay $15 a pack for Ascended, you will get every pack of Ascended that is on the market hit your box.
And the amount of LGSs that like had 0 Ascended, like I would have it at 20 before I had none of it. Like okay, it's harder to get, and it's not hard to get, it's just expensive to get. Get it, put your crazy markup on it that you need, and go from there. At least that's the model. Again, some people run the model of I get it at wholesale, I sell it at MSRP, props to them, whatever. But like having everything within 10%-ish of TCG Player, and the way that Java runs it, the way that Bierski runs it, I have a spreadsheet I share to them. It actually slightly lags the market because of where I pull it off TCG Player. They have it priced at flat TCG Player pricing. So like if TCG Player shows $13, $14 a pack for Ascended, people go in that day and buy it for 100% of TCG Player. Some point in the future, as they scale, as their overhead increases, maybe that number will. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody cry too much about like my LGS is 5% above TCG Player. And there might be an LGS owner out there somewhere that would say like, whoa, Dan, pump the brakes. If I'm 1 cent above TCG Player, my people cry. But yeah, I saw so much 150% of TCG Player, 200% of TCG Player that it blew my mind.
How's Bierski doing? I mean, I know he hasn't really talked about it, but is he doing all right? Like, did he have foot traffic on his opening?
Yeah, so I'm always like, I'm sure he would be fine with it. I have his exact numbers. I'm not going to because it's not my numbers to share, but like he reported back to me, Dan, opening weekend, this much sealed, this much singles, this much, like I know exactly what he did. Feels like it's a very solid number. I begged and pleaded with him. I hope we get some content. There were conversations around him putting in a camera for this weekend's activities. We'll see, but he's doing well. It is early days. It was literally 1 weekend of being open, but I think he did pretty well, and I'm excited for his future with that. Yeah, there's definitely some amount of that, trying to be the good guy, not getting called a scalper, yada yada. But like anecdotally, I've heard only good things from Java. Like people come in and they're like, "Whoa, you've got more than one set. Whoa, your sets aren't 50% above market." I've heard a lot of very positive feedback, and go check out Java. Like he's got these million view YouTube videos or YouTube shorts and TikToks and whatever from people just having very positive engagement with being able to buy packs. Not MSRP, not like you can't buy them and go scalp them because they're at full market, but you can just engage in the hobby in some semi-reasonable fashion. I don't know what kind of topics you want to go towards. We do have a couple other questions, but
fire them off.
When is Papa Dan going to get into the flipping game? I don't think he has any desire to be vending a Pokemon show, but who knows? I talked with him. He was here tonight. I think next week might be the week that he comes on. So we got PK this week. We might have Papa Dan, Papa Catch 'em All Collectibles on a live stream next week. So definitely stay tuned to that. I don't know if you have any follow-up on this. I do vaguely remember when you showed the slabs being open without them being able to easily be distinguished as having been open.
I think it's just too hard for people to do. I don't think anybody's doing it. I think it's easier to make fake Tenzo slabs and just do it that way instead of using the same slab.
A lot of that stuff comes down to like the ease of it versus the diminishing returns on like getting to 99% ability to deceive somebody takes 10 times more effort than getting to 90% ability to deceive someone.
If you're going to do that, use fake slabs, real certs.
Yeah, people cast a wider net with a lower effort and get higher rewards.
Fake slabs, real certs, fake cards. Or no, sorry. Fake slabs, real certs, real cards, lower grade. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. And to some extent, I think it's going on, but as with most things, I think it's not like it's not going to be the downfall of the hobby. I think that conversation's been around for a long, long time in art and in coins and in all different kinds of things. I think the only thing that it's like
the repeatability of high-end fake sales, like at scale, is just too hard for most of these people. So like if you could do it, like it's so hard, the repeatability, like eventually people pull up the scan. Oh, wait a second. Especially when you get the newer certs, like older certs are easy because there's no scans for a lot of this stuff. So like if you have a PSA 9 first ed Charizard that you bought in a 5 and it's a clean 5, there's such things as clean 5s, and you crack it and you reslab it, a real card, and you call it a PSA 9 with a real cert with no photos, like people are going to say, oh yeah, this is just PSA old label inconsistency, but like you can't keep repeating that. Like it just it's not an infinite thing. It's like people who are scamming at that level, there's just their time is better used elsewhere.
Well, people just buy the old cert PSA 5s and then they send them through the waxer polisher. They send them through the card wash, and they grade them as new cert 10s.
Yeah. Did you see? I saw an Instagram thing after I was talking about how people are able to like not reback but like recolor cards. All of a sudden, do you see PSA put a press release after my video?
Yeah, I watched a video like a year ago, and I promise I've never owned Kurt's Card Care. I don't do any of this stuff. I had a couple people get mad at me like 2 years ago on a video. on a live stream, I cracked open a Charizard that was like a CGC, whatever the hell it was, or no, PSA 3 or 4. It had some gunk on it, so I physically removed gunk and it turned into whitening. It's like that to me felt like fair play because that was something that wasn't supposed to be on the card originally. I removed it. I removed some debris or whatever. And but anyways, I watched a video like a year ago of some guy who claimed to work in some print facility, and he didn't have a can of spray paint from Home Depot. He didn't have like Bear or whatever Valspar paint that you put on a wall. He had some like fancy paints, and he talked about these like color codes, and he was like painting or whatever onto the blue back of a card. And
I guess you could do it with like the humidity, like you get the card humid enough that you could, it's like easier to peel off the back and stuff, but I don't know. It's just, this is all speculation.
So much of this stuff too, like obviously play by the rules. Nat Turner says it's very clear. Don't be dumb out there. You know what he means, and you know what's good and what's not good.
When you're peeling backs of cards and painting
that stuff is very obvious.
And that was new to my vocabulary, was painting. It was always recoloring. Like that was always the terminology I'd always heard. And then I started hearing painting, and that took a while. But it just comes down to like, it's the same ink, but like I don't understand the whole process. I don't want to know the whole process.
No, and I've always been short on plastic, long on cardboard. I think it's a very concerning thing that the grading companies set these rules in place that they have no expertise to be able to verify who's playing by the rules and who's not. They're creating an environment where the cheaters prosper and the cheaters win. And I'm not going to be a cheater. I just largely reject the whole grading scene as far as like short term. I will arbitrage it. I will use it. I will buy. I will sell. I will grade. I will flip. But like I'm not invested in ABC, XYZ, PSA, CGC, none of them for the long term. I buy the card. I do own some slabs that I speculate on for the longer term, but like I'm buying the card, and the holder is a minimal part of what I'm buying. Scary world out there.
Scary world.
I think Hot Singles saw the exact, maybe he watched the video that I watched as well. It's scary too, because like some of these Instagram reels, some of these YouTube shorts that I see where somebody's fixing up a card, they're not like Catch 'em All Collectibles 2,000, 3,000 views. I've seen some with 50,000 views. I've seen some with like 10, 20,000 subscribers. And there was that guy recently, I don't remember the name, but I saw it went a little bit around the drama cycles, and he'd been on a couple different live streams, and I think that's still semi-ongoing. But yeah, this video that I watched like a year ago, the guy was like some printing ink specialist, whatever, and I think he semi-demonstrated it, but he said, I don't want to show everything. It's like, if people are out here putting all this stuff in a video, it's like, what's not going into a video? What hasn't been going into the video for the past 5 years? 10, 12 years ago?
I think it was happening at a very lower, I don't think it was happening at the level it's happened, and it's exploded in the last, I think Kurt Card Care on the scene was a huge, I think Kurt, humidifiers, and heat presses, I think those three things in conjunction with each other, I think those are the three biggest catalysts.
Yeah. And one thing, it's kind of unrelated, but it's kind of related too. 12 years ago, when I got on the E4, when I got back into the hobby, Pack Wang was like very contentious. And no, but I think there's some analogies here. 12 years ago, Pack Wang was like, I remember butting heads with Gary a little bit and some other people. It's like, I always was going to do it. I was always going to disclose it. Knowledge, information is power, all that stuff. I don't want to keep information like held tightly that could harm people, because in this world that we're in today, it's not the same as Pack Wang, but some of the outcomes can be the same. If PSA and CGC and BGS and all these companies continue to have rules that they can't verify, that they can't enforce, it just harms the individual. My point 12 years ago was like, we should spread the information of pack weighing so that people can protect themselves.
Bro, they had that one guy who created the card, and he was like, "Hey, real quick, shout out to like, remember that?
Oh, the Wembanyama or whatever.
Yeah. It was like what was that too? But like, this is the world we live in, where somebody could literally call out like the card care product at the PSA headquarters. Like, we're living in a simulation.
There was a video made in the past couple of weeks. He's got great video. Probably a lot of people here have heard of him. Way bigger channel than mine. Sleeve No Card Behind. He does like really cool deep dive. Just recently, he had somebody from like Australia that used to print for Wizards of the Coast in Australia. And in the video, 30 minutes in or whatever, I remember pausing it and commenting. You could actually see the guy, the production guy, said that they would print a pack. They would print all the packs and they would fill them. They would weigh every pack. They would weigh every box. They would weigh every case. And I remember throughout the video, he shared a little section where a pack went across and it was 20.4, and then a pack went across and it was 20.8. And it's like that right there. So from 1999, this was 30-year-old footage, almost 27-year-old footage. It was known by some amount of people that pack weighing was a thing. And one anecdote that I'll share that ties in with this too. 9-year-old me did not know what pack weighing was. My mom, my dad at the time did not know what pack weighing was. Anecdotally, I probably opened over the first couple of years, I probably opened from KB Toys, from Toys R Us, I probably opened 50 booster packs that were bought from a store. And anecdotally, I hardly pulled any hollows, maybe 2 or 3. Somebody in upstate New York at my local Toys R Us, I'm convinced, I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure someone was weighing packs. And I, as a consumer, was harmed not having had the information. My mom, my dad were harmed not having had the information. So like all this card cleaning, all this stuff, like at some point, and this is going to be a pretty bold take. This is going to be something people get really riled up about and might not agree with. But like, I think PSA, CGC, BGS, all of them as a whole, they either need to figure out how to police it, how to enforce it, get rid of all the cheaters, or they need to go the way of coins. They need to go the way of comics, and they need to allow people to do it. You should not, and in my opinion, you cannot have a rule that you can enforce, because all that does is it rewards cheaters.
Does it make, I think where it comes down to, does it make well, it wouldn't be old. All the new CGC or all the new CGC certs, all the new PSA certs, if it's against the policies, do you have to deactivate those cards? And then would you be liable? Would you be on the hook for the insurance payout? I don't know.
That's why, like, again, this is probably disagreed on by most people. If you have high-end, low-pop PSA 10s, you are going to hate me for what I'm going to say. If you have even modern ones, like if you have newer cert ones, you're probably not going to love me for what I'm going to say. I'm fairly confident that PSA, CGC, and BGS, and XYZ, and TAG, and all of them, I don't think they're competent enough, / I don't think the technology will ever exist to detect whether or not someone heat pressed or removed a crease or did whatever. So I don't even think it's a matter
does
of
have that scanner that showed a card that was heat pressed, but it was like a one-off in a separate room. I don't know if you saw that.
And I guess that's where, if the technology does exist and they're not using it, they're creating a rule that they're by choice not enforcing. That is bad on them. I'm not going to be the guy to do the things. I'm not going to doctor cards. I'm going to play by the rules. But I am being harmed because I'm not willing to go and cheat. The people who will go and cheat are guaranteed doing it every day. I mean, look at the 50,000 view videos. Look at all these different services. Look at all these things popping up. You, in my opinion, at least, this is one guy, his opinion. I'm not breaking the rules, but like, I think they need to change the rules if they can't enforce them. That's my take. And let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat if you agree or disagree. And one thing I'll say too, this is not coming out of nowhere. We've had all the conversations, washing your car and restoring artwork and blah, blah, blah. But like, comics are a pretty damn good analogy to trading cards. Coins are a pretty damn good analogy to trading cards. You can clean coins. You can pay So Collectors Universe, for anyone who doesn't know the hierarchy, Collectors is up here. They own PCGS. PCGS is the PSA analog to coins, owned by the same company. You can go to PCGS with 100-year-old toned silver coin, and you can say, I want you to restore this. They don't call it cleaning. They don't call it like any of the naughty words. They call it restoration. They're doing the things that you're not allowed to do. They're just doing it professionally. Same thing goes with the comic books. So, like, my opinion, one guy, they either need to be able to enforce it and prevent everyone from doing it, or they need to remove the rule, and we need to live in a world where you're allowed to do that stuff. Because right now, the world that we're in is the worst world to be in my opinion. There are people buying PSA 10s that were altered, and the companies are too incompetent to catch it. And that's just not a good spot to be in. The cheaters are winning right now. The cheaters are prospering in this world. And it's because of
the buyers think the newer cert is the better cert.
Old cert, no cert. Old cert, no cert.
Old cert, no cert. Yeah. That's crazy thing too.
I think it's a fascinating conversation, and I would love to like have a debate with somebody who has a complete PSA 10 collection that's like very, very afraid that these things will end up happening. And I'm not saying that people like, I don't think people should be able to trim, but again, like, where do you draw the line? 2 years ago on that infamous podcast when I was called dumb and cute by a billionaire, Nat said the line was clear. The line is not clear, for one. Two, the enforcement is just not there whatsoever. There are people doing things that are explicitly against the rules that are quite obviously not allowed, and the companies are too incompetent to catch it. Because one thing that like we all fundamentally need to agree on, if you you remember in kindergarten when you had those scissors that would cut like fancy corners around a card? My daughter has some Pokemon cards that she cut with those like fancy scissors. If she wants to have a card in her binder that she trims the edges off of, so like this is, I need to say this carefully, and I'm going to say it carefully. If you want to trim your cards for your own viewing pleasure, for your own whatever, you own the thing. If you want to take a sledgehammer to the hood of your car, you're allowed to do that. If you want to crinkle up your card, if you want to trim it, if you want to color it, if you want to paint it, anything you want to do to your property, this is America.
You just turned that into a tag 10. Look at that. That was impressive.
Anything you want to do to your card is fully legally allowed. This is America. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But like the problem comes when you then decide to grade it. And that little trim, like, oh, I don't like the white dot in my binder, so I'm going to take the card. And again, I don't do any of this, but like it's a problem when the companies have these rules they can't enforce because people cheat and the cheaters prosper. And I think the line is very unclear. The line is very murky. I think certain things are obvious. Should people be able to trim the edge? Should people be able to recolor, pull the back off, put a new back on? I strongly think not. But like, can you put it in your bathroom, in your humid bathroom, and then can you put it by the air duct coming out of your forced air furnace? That's all. Like, where's the line? I don't know. I'm not going to be the guy to set it, but there's a big problem in the hobby today, and it's the unclear nature of the rules, and it's the lack of enforcement of the rules. Right? I mean,
I concur.
and all this said by like somebody who, if the 10 rates go up because people are allowed to heat press and do X, Y, and Z, and one thing I'll say, if all that stuff becomes allowed tomorrow, I don't think the 10 rates drastically go up because the cheaters are already doing it. So like the general public being allowed to do it with a clear conscience, I don't think it drastically increases the amount of new submissions that are having that done because people are doing it today. It's already happening. There's money to be made there. People are making the money. It just levels the playing field, in my opinion. So again, I'm not saying this is like the whole not to get political or whatever you would call this, but like marijuana, alcohol. We had prohibition 100 years ago. Like, where do you draw the line? Should heroin, should any of these crazy things be like? At some point, we can all agree, yes, like some of these should be illegal, but like alcohol is legal right now. 100 years ago, it wasn't. Should people be able to water? I don't know where the line should be with any of those things. But there should be a line, and it should be clear and obvious and easy to enforce. And that's my take on it all. Interesting conversation, though.
I think you made it more confusing when you started talking about that. Like, where's the line of what should and what shouldn't be illegal? Like, I'm more confused after that statement because I don't know what the line is.
See, have you ever seen the billboards by PETA where it's like a dog, and then it's a cat, and then it's like horses, and then it's like over here it's like a chicken and a cow and a pig, like the things that we all eat every day. And it's like, where do you draw the line? Their whole point is like animals are animals and eating meat is bad. Sure. And again, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but like, I think it's an interesting thing. I think most people, again, can draw the line. Like, we're not going to eat cats and dogs. We're not going to eat, but yeah. Like, oh yeah, like it's a spectrum. The worst things are like taking off the back and putting on a new back and trimming, and those are the worst things that everyone can agree. We're not eating our pet dogs. We're all on the same page there. We're not legalizing. I don't even know what the worst drug is, but we're not. I've been watching Breaking Bad again. I've been watching. We're not legalizing meth, but like alcohol, okay. Like a little bit of heat, a little bit of water, a little bit of. I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to set the line, but set the line at a logical place and have the ability to enforce it. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I can give you the enforcing thing. Yeah.
Let's see. A real conspiracy is them letting it come to the point where it's accepted and can offer PSA cleaning services and kits. It's a thing in coins. It's a thing in comics. It would not shock me if 5 or 10 years from now, and part of the reason I was getting crazy with the whole PETA, with the whole drug analogies, but like the whole pack weighing analogy. 12 years ago, pack weighing was like, you would get banned on E4 if you talked about pack weighing too much and in the wrong ways. It's pretty ubiquitous now. For vintage product, most people know that it's weighable, and is it heavy? Is it unweighed? Is it light? That's like that's an easy conversation anyone can have about like vintage product. It's well understood, and I think that's the best way. Whereas with all this, there's so much shroud of mystery and over what's going on with all these, and I think more clarity, more well-defined rules, more well-enforced rules. And in a perfect world that we don't live in and can't live in a perfect world, they would have a machine that they would just instantly scan it and like, oh yes, somebody did naughty things to this and reject it and ban the submitter. And that's just not the world we live in. So to some extent, like you have to, like pack weighing exists. There's no like putting that genie back into the bottle. Pack weighing exists. And there's no way to have a pack that's like, oh yeah, this one is a fair, true, unweighed pack. That's not a thing. That will never be a thing. And so the hobby as a whole is kind of adapted in a way where we just accept it. Like you're going to buy a pack that's light or heavy. Yeah, I anecdotally, I've heard of things. They ban people and then the people submit through someone else. That's about the extent of it from what I understand. Peak says, question for Dan, why haven't you gotten the bear pet yet? I am actively killing the bear on old school RuneScape and I still don't have the pet. Caster, if we believe that heat pressing is going to become accepted by grading companies, should we, for example, be buying clean PSA 6 copies now that only got low grade because of bends? There are definitely people that are doing that. Again, the cheaters.
That's happening every day.
Yes. Like, yeah, there are people that are doing that. Again, in a perfect world, it would be detectable and they would have rules that they could actually enforce. But given that we live in this world where they can't detect it, they can't enforce it, I don't know what you do. But I think what's going on right now is not optimal, in my opinion, at least.
SGC showed they could detect it. They showed it with a mantle where they could see the fibers in the card where he pressed down. You could see like the old crease. I don't know if you should watch that video.
I feel like is that like an older video, like years ago?
Yeah, it's like a back, like behind the scenes at SGC, and they show, but it's like in a separate room, and they have to like fire up the machine. Like it's definitely like a separate.
It's not something that every card gets, and
yeah, it was like
that's old. Like 70 years ago, maybe it was made with a material where you could do that, and is that applicable to the current modern stock? Like, I have no idea. There was another couple questions. Oh, here we go. Here's actually a good question that if you want to go first, because I've been ranting a lot. If an item you sold was found to be fake, how many chains down the line would you feel comfortable honoring? Also, would you go up the chain trying to get your money back?
So if I sold the item, the immediate thing is we refund the seller. Like that would be the very first thing that I would do. And then I would go I only care about one step in the chain. Personally, I care about the person that I bought it from, and then it's their job to keep chasing it down. But so my job as the seller of that item, if it was found to be fake, is immediately refund whoever bought that. And then the only thing that I'm worried about is reaching out to the person that I bought it from. I don't care about their story. It's then on them, and that just keeps going from every person. That's the way I look at it. What about you? So I believe it's my job to refund and then to go one step.
Yeah, so I'll just share, like, again, an anecdote. We've opened hundreds of thousands of packs on the stream. I hate that it happened, but we made it right. I sent PK from a collection buy some EX era booster packs, and he opened on stream a fake. It was Crystal Guardians, right? He opened on stream a fake Crystal Guardians pack. Was it resealed? Was it a real pack that was resealed? It was just a fake pack.
It was a potential real pack with fake cards.
Okay. So whatever the case may be, instantly, obviously, as he said, refunded. And then we quarantined all the other cards from that collection until we could verify there was some other affected product. I had just bought that stuff a week or two prior. I went up the chain one level, and he's like, oh, sorry. Like so he was selling to me. He was like middling the transaction on behalf of a friend. But anyways, he like, I think we did the right thing. PK did the right thing on the spot, refunded the guy. We quarantined the product, didn't let any of the other affected product out. We identified what was bad, what was good. I went one level up the chain. That guy was great. He instantly, like, yes, refund, and he went up the chain to his guy. And unfortunately, it was just the case where, like, this guy had acquired this stuff over a decade, and it sat for so long. And he's like, I'm pretty sure I bought it at some local show years ago. So he didn't end up ultimately getting his money back, but he did reimburse me. So if and there's a lot of layers to this. If I sell you today an Evolving Skies booster case and you open it tomorrow and you have proof that that's the one that I sold you, and absolutely, I'm taking care of you. If I sell you something today and 5 years from now you send me an email saying, hey, Dan, that Ascended Heroes ETB case, one, if it's Ascended Heroes ETB case that I know came straight from my distro, it's like, whoa, guy. You got your stuff mixed up. Like, that was one that I got from my distro. I would, like, if my next rung up the chain was distro or was something that was like concrete, it's like, you must have gotten your stuff mixed up. But that's one thing that I'm taking a minute to get to the point here. If years later you're trying to go up the chain, you can't really do that. I was used to do hollow guarantees at shows and stuff. If you open the pack in front of me and there's no hollow, you're getting fully refunded and you're keeping the cards. But if you leave the table and you come back 2 hours later and you say, oh, hey, Dan, I didn't take a video of that pack, and I don't know that you didn't swap a pack. And so a lot of it comes down to how many layers removed, how many chains up the line were there, how much time has passed since the transaction. So naturally, On the Fence Dan says it depends. But if it's right then and there, and I will always just instantly refund and then do my own detective work on the back end. This one actually kind of blew my mind recently. I'm sure you probably listened to it too. Rusty made a video relatively recently where he talked about like he only ships UPS now. Did you hear about that? He was having so much theft in the Charlotte area due to some USPS issue. Are you familiar with that?
So when did this video come out?
In the past week or two, I think.
Okay, I might not have watched it. I had like a full on, like, it was like a decent conversation with Rusty on the phone about a couple months, maybe 2-3 months back, or no, a month. I don't know. I can't even keep track of time in a boom. But it was
time is impossible in a boom.
Maybe it was a month ago. It could have been 2 months.
One day to 10 years ago, sometime in there.
Yeah. And he gave me a lot of the information, like what cards were stolen. Some of the other people were involved, but I don't want to talk about it because I didn't watch the video. So I might have a lot of information that was not publicly shared. Like what I guess you could talk about, and then I could.
I texted with him a little bit about it, and not too in depth, but what he said was basically that he was talking with the postmaster general or whatever the hell it's called, and they were doing these inquiries and they were doing these things, and he talked with a lot of other vendors that are like local to him, and just package after package going missing, and they were going out, and like the same location, and he that's basically all he said. It's just a lot of packages missing, not just him, other people local to him, and talking with the inspector general or whatever. Nothing came of it. So he's shipping out just UPS at this point right now, which is pretty crazy.
Even on lower end.
I don't know exactly how much lower end he's doing because like one eBay standard envelope, if you're doing sub 20, is unmatchable when it comes to UPS or FedEx. But even like if you're doing a single slab, UPS would be $7 or $8, I think, and USPS is like $4 or $5. I mean that really chews into your margin on a lot of different cards.
Yeah, I don't know. I know when I ship really heavy packages, like 70-pound packages or like 60-pound packages, I use FedEx on eBay.
See, I
don't know what like the UPS rate is for like. If it's a 50 cents or 25, you might be okay. And I don't know what Rusty's average sale price is too. Like,
I don't know either.
Sense. But I know, like what Rusty told me was there was some. It wasn't just him. Yeah, there was other people involved, and there's a lot going on that I don't want
to. If that ever happened to me, the first idea, I talked to Rusty a little bit about this just via text, but it's like, did you send any air tags? And years ago, like Mark Rober made a video years ago. I think it wasn't with respect to mail theft. It was with respect to porch pirates. Mark Rober, like a big sciencey channel, he did like a glitter bomb sting operation. He'd put packages on people's porches, and he'd have GPS and he'd have camera, and they would get it back to their apartment, and they would open it up, and it would record. He'd get relayed the video back, and it would just like glitter bomb their whole apartment or glitter bomb their whole car or whatever. Very satisfying watch. But again, I don't know exactly what depths were gone to on that. But
did he talk about any of the cars that were stolen?
He's posted some publicly on Instagram.
I think he posted the Venusaur, right? The Venusaur was posted.
And I'm terrible because I listen to YouTube. I don't really watch YouTube much. So like I heard some of this in my ear, but I didn't really see what was on the screen. But I think that's very isolated in the grand scheme of things. As long as you're not Rusty or somebody in that specific location, very rarely do things get stolen from the mail. I don't think it's like a massive overarching problem, but that's part of what makes it so infuriating. Like if I were in Rusty's shoes, it's like this is a felony theoretically, tampering with the like this is a federal offense. All the things that you hear, and then for it to go on over some period of time, and how do you not just stamp that out and somebody goes to jail? That would be endlessly frustrating. I mean, and to have it happen to Rusty too, like that's crazy. I wouldn't be able to stand it, and I feel like I would go out of my way, and I'm sure he probably did too. Talking with the police and police reports, and how nothing gets done is just wild.
Yeah. He did do all that, but it's funny you said that. Like, you know how YouTube algorithms just know what you want to watch? I literally watched 2 episodes this morning before I went live. At like, it was like 3-minute FedEx clips of their major, like, I think it's Memphis, Tennessee, the major FedEx like shipping hub. I didn't realize that they have the ability to land a plane every 40 seconds. And their busiest time is from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and they process like 1.2 million packages per day. I thought that was amazing. And it's 80 miles of conveyor belts in this facility, and it's like 3 football fields long. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And it's got like all the automated and this was this morning I watched this video, so all the information's fresh.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, now if you glitter bomb somebody, you'd probably be charged as a terrorist. From my recollection, I think I watched this YouTube video a few years ago. I think he worked with the local law enforcement. It wasn't through like, please, nobody listening to this now, build glitter bombs and send them through the mail. Please don't do anything related to those words through the mail, obviously. But I think Mark Rober was actually like working with and talking with the local police to some extent. And again, he was not using the mail. Please do not do anything like that through the mail. But it's very an analogy that I've heard before is like when you go get an oil change, you don't have to pay a $5 upcharge to ensure that they don't like destroy your vehicle. You don't have to pay a $5 insurance fee that they don't drop your vehicle off the lift, that they don't forget to put the oil plug in and start your car with no oil in it. Like the fact that you have to pay extra, they do insure the first $100 or whatever, that change they made the past couple of years. But it's that said, like my experience over the past 20 years of selling on eBay, and I've shipped tons of things and very, very infrequently is there not an issue. So if and when a theft issue ever arose that was like very easily tracked down to one, I would just be infuriated if that was unable to be resolved. That's just that's insane.
I shipped out like low 5 figures worth of packages last year, and very, very few ever get lost. And like so few that I could remember everyone.
Between you and Ponga on Fanatics these past 18 months, between Spat, Grimer and Bierski, and now Ponga as well on eBay, some like it's over 1,000 a week. Over 1,000 a week.
I was over 30,000 packages between eBay and Fanatics.
Probably between everyone under the Catch 'em All Collectibles umbrella, it's probably 100,000 packages this year. And it is, like you said, count on one hand the amount of genuine issues and genuine losses. But Rusty had more than that isolated to one carrier, to one. Yeah, that's
and high dollar packages too, which didn't make sense too. I think they were probably sniping packages. They think they probably recognized eBay authentication addresses, and they were probably sniping those. That's the only thing I could think.
Yeah. How's it going, Steve? Nice to see you here. Just landed from a red eye with a 1.5 hour drive home. It is getting fairly late. If anyone has any final questions, we'll probably wrap up relatively soon. We are coming up quickly on 2 hours. It's almost 12:30 Eastern. Busy day tomorrow. Getting some Chaos Rising over to PK for the live streams. A lot of goodies getting over to him for the mega stream. Somebody asked earlier, I forgot to start it, but as of now, I'm trying to think of the biggest slab that is there for the mega. My memory is terrible. I can't even think. I know there's a handful of cards above like $1,000. But a lot of it's going to be, there's a lot of juicy sealed product. There's going to be Celebrations UPC auctioned at $1. Yeah. the mega stream bonus is going to be a little bit higher on this one, but the sealed product was coming in heavy the past month. The mega streams are made for moving through what's coming in, and the theme of the last month has been a lot of sealed products. So prepare all your random size boxes, PK.
Yeah, I think my wife has an Amazon problem, and she just gets random size boxes. I just save all those in my garage. I got like a big pile of the random Amazon box.
Sounds like it's not an Amazon problem. It's an Amazon solution to your mystery box needs.
Don't tell her that. So Dan, when you get what happens when tomorrow somebody slides into your DMs? Like, I'm gonna 120%. I'll take everything. You probably say no.
I've said this before. The handshake agreements, and I'm a man of my word, that there's no contracts between me and PK and me and Ponga, but there are many handshake agreements, conversations. If and when I were to ever actually sell off into the sunset, take that big buyout, financial independence, retire entirely from the space, I would have to have a big buyout to apologize for and make you guys whole for all the conversations that I have. So it's not happening. But if it did, it would be very expensive.
Plenty of product here to keep us
I know.
We're good.
I'd have to basically say, like, keep everything that you have. I apologize, but I took this buyout offer. I could not refuse. Keep everything you have. That's your severance package. Knowing how much you have of mine, you know that would not come lightly, and that's not coming anytime soon.
No, but I don't know. I just think it would be an interesting thing. It's like if you could just go full on like source, and I feel like you could replace quick. I don't think it's long. You might not be able to replace every item, but I think you could do it in like a 30-day window if you just have the cash and you just open buy list. Like, hey,
I've been dropping the amount of PokeTube that I've been consuming recently, but like Rusty's a guy who doesn't drop a crazy amount of videos, and you and I both are big Rusty fans. One time a few weeks ago, he said something along the lines of like, he kind of teased towards something that he didn't go too deep on. He almost teased on, and it's probably something to some extent of like, I talked about it earlier. I've been contracted, not like as a full-time job, not on a completely fixed recurring basis, but I've been asked to like source me XYZ, so spend me this many hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I've done it. He almost talked as if there was something like potentially coming there, and I know that I'm not the only one that's been being asked by some of these people to like, and I guess one that I'll talk about, like the most outwardly facing, the most easy to talk about, slabs. It's no mystery that like Fanatics Live needs a bunch of slabs, that Mystery Power Packs needs a bunch of slabs, Courtyard. A lot of these people wheeling and dealing, offering 95% on slabs, myself included, from time to time. They're just being contracted, not contracted, but they're being asked to source by the big digital repackers. And I think that's going to become more of a thing. It's already become significantly more a thing in the past 12 months. But that's the thing with sealed too. And I think it's going to be coming at a significantly higher level than it already has been. And it's already being done at
way more. I think it's way more.
Yeah. And again, like, I'm only saying, I'm talking about Rusty because he like vaguely talked about something along those lines in a public YouTube video. But yeah,
I think the big money is finally starting to smarten up, and the ones that don't are going to get left behind really fast.
Oh, here's a funny one. Did PK ever tend the Venusaur we co-own with Josh?
Oh, it's at grading as we speak.
So
it's at grading as we
what
speak.
Number
I don't even have that.
Is this? Is this like the
5?
The 5th.
This is number 5. It's been a great investment, though. A PSA 9 has gone up a lot since we've owned it.
I've joked about it, but PSA, CGC, BGS, they need to create a new service tier that just like save the planet. Don't ship it back to me so that I can crack it out and ship it back. Literally just bulk until 10. Call the service bulk until 10.
Till 10. And just keeps going around.
Just have it anytime it's sub 10s. Don't print the label. Don't encapsulate it in the plastic. Just loop it back to R&D or R&ID. Like, literally just put me on that consistently inconsistent train until I 10. Every card submitted enough time. Any card, every card submitted enough times. can get any grade 1 through 10.
It's number 2. I'm looking at the submission. It's number 2 in the submission that I just sent out.
That's hilarious. So she's still cooking. She's still cooking, Retro. You just gotta wait.
She's still cooking.
PK must not be too savvy with the old Kurtz and heat presses and all these 10 creators out here.
That card is fresh. But I don't know, man. I keep thinking about like some of the money that's moving into the hobby, and I don't know. I don't think stuff is going to slow down right now. I don't think some people are going to let it slow down right now.
Dan, with your purchasing power, you could build such a cool one rip or a multi-mystery pack I feel would have good value. Crazy you don't jump. Honestly,
time.
It's B2B versus B2C. It's business to business versus business to consumer. I sell to the people who make products like that. And there's margin doing that. To get that additional margin that they're capturing, they're earning that margin by dealing with the end customer. They're doing all the branding, they're building their brand and name, and they're engaging with the end consumer. I don't have that virality. I don't have that. So like, I'm going to be the guy. I've sold to many, and I have recurring sales with many of like very large repackers. But yeah, have you seen that new product? That's the one that PokeRev has, right?
It's the literally PokeRev, the one. Yeah, I tried to do it. I did the PK mystery pack, and it was just the amount of time that I put in. Like
it's the time and the scale. Like, yeah,
I did a really big like initial wave, and it didn't sell out. And then I took some of the feedback from people because it didn't have like advertised hits. So I did another one, and I was like, oh, instead of selling it for a couple of days, I expanded out for like 2 weeks. And I did a small print run of 100 with 5 chase. So like 4 chases, 1 grail. So 5 chases if you want to count the grail as a chase. So it was 1 out of every 20 packs. I sold 20 and 2 grails got hit. And I was just like, all right, well, that was a total waste of my time. So, because it was 1 out of 20, but
don't give up, PK. Have a good night. Have a good night, Retro.
But yeah, I ended up pulling. I only sold 20 out of the 100 I made, and 2 of them were chases, and it was like, wow, that was like all for nothing. So
yes, scale is going to be an issue with that, and then reach is going to be an issue with that. It's like I could theoretically
want me to go on my mystery pack like I like rant like
yes.
I mean, so I don't. Jake and Mason went out, and they had their most recent. I don't know if you caught the live that was on Mason's channel. And my only criticism for products like that is that are made in small batches. I just feel that I don't like items that are made in small batches because what's advertised on the box. Does that make sense? So like if you put slabs that are on the box, while they are still inherently in the product, like let's say you put whatever slabs on the box, even though they're in those, if you're only building at small batches, you're guaranteeing that all those slabs are not in that batch, right? So when somebody buys that product, they're going to look at the box and they're going to see these cards and they're going to say, okay, so I have the potential to pull one of these cards. But in reality, you with a 100% certainty actually cannot pull those cards. And sometimes those cards have already been pulled, but they were pulled and then the boxes were created. So like, let's say you have a Pikachu with a gray felt hat. If that box is, and the Pikachu has been pulled, which was on the box, but if you create another box with that Pikachu on it, you know that Pikachu has already been pulled, but yet you're selling a product that is, in my opinion, and this is why I don't like MG Holden's like products. I never trusted MG Holden's products, but like now you're selling a box with the uneducated consumer, and you gotta assume you're selling to the uneducated consumer. So they're gonna see that Pikachu with a gray felt hat on the box and say, well, while I know I probably won't pull it, I at least have a chance. Because in my opinion, what you're selling with a mystery product is you're selling a chance. You're selling a chance at something great. And if you're advertising something that you know with 100% certainty is not in that product because it had already been pulled in a previous print wave, I don't like that. The way I like it is all products have to be built at the same time. And another thing when it comes to mystery product is you need a baseline. The worst mystery product that could ever be built is the trust me bro, right? When it comes to a dollar amount, that's why you have, like, Fanatics uses card ladder. All these whatever power packs use, they have a baseline. Whether that system is perfect or not,
it's at least third party.
And it's third public. Party. It's not a trust me, because the danger you can have is you have a card and you go, well, it's a trust me bro because I pulled, it might sell different on Fanatics, on eBay, on GameStop.com. So if you go in and it might sell low at auction, but it sells high at buy it now, and you go in and you are picky and choosy with that data, and you're only using the highest possible buy it now comps, and you ignore everything else, you can make the argument that that's fine. And you build a product only using highest comps, you can make the argument. But like where my bias comes in is I don't like that. I like an average, like true representation of the full market. Like that's what I like. And it bothers me when you only use high comps. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Or
yeah, I understand what you're saying. And to me, like, some of this conversation comes down to physical versus digital.
Yeah.
One thing that digital destroys physical on is just transparency. And like Pokemon Day,
you go into the checklist, you can see every single card that is available. And then on top of that, you can click on hit and you can see every single card that was hit. You see the date, you see the person, and you see the channel that sold it. These other mystery products that are being built in small batches, this trust me, bro. And the problem is you're going to if you have a box that has 5 slabs on it, 4 of them are PSA, 1 of them CDC, and then somebody goes and opens your product with the expectation that the product is going to be the same as the box. And of course, there's always going to be a warning that says, products, contents may vary. But if they go and they open it up and there's 5 CDC slabs and 1 PSA slab, that kind of hurts, or like that's my problem with products like those, is that you're selling a chance, and like you can say, well, there is the chance of pulling these cards, but I know that card has already been pulled, even though it's on the box. Yeah. And so if every single person you sell that box to, especially the larger the network of sellers go, if I were to sell a box that has a crystal Celebi on it, or a shiny Celebi, or whatever, you throw some good Celebi. I don't know why I thought of Celebi, but you got a shiny Celebi on the box, and I'm selling it on my live stream, and somebody says, oh, there's a shiny Celebi in there, I would say, there could be. And they would say, well, has it been hit? And I would say, I don't know. But the problem is somebody does know, because if they're built in small batches, somebody knows for 100% certainty that they put it into a box already. And they know with 100% certainty that it was sold. Oh, yeah, I packaged this into a mystery box. That exact Celebi, which we know it was in the product, was sold 2 months ago. So me as a seller, I tell my buyer, I don't know. So my buyer then trusts me. And they're like, PK's not going to lie to me. And I'm not lying to him because I don't know. But the unfortunate reality is somewheres along the line, somebody does know. And now I am, as the seller, I'm selling something that I don't know if it's in there. With Insta-Rips, I never have to worry about that, because they go, is the grails left? I go, hold on, let me check. Yep, It's still there. Oh, nope. It was hit this morning. Like, and it just happened recently with a Mario Pika in $1,000 Insta Rip. It got hit. If I didn't know that Mario got hit, you message me. We get it from our Fanatics Live rep. Like, hey, we got a big Mario $30,000 chase in the $1,000 pack. Mm-hmm. They do that for a reason. Sorry, everyone. Like, it's done for a reason. It's advertisement. And guess what? When I'm on that live, I was telling everybody there's a $30,000 Mario Pika chase. And guess what? While I was streaming, we were opening up $1,000 packs. And you want to know what happened? It got hit. And it didn't get hit by me. It got hit by another channel. And guess what? As soon as that happened, do you know what happened to the $1,000? Zero sales after that. You want to know why?
Yep.
Because the big hit got hit. If I didn't know that, I would be pumping the shit out of that $1,000 pack because of that $30,000 chase. And I would just be, and then people would have kept buying because it was being advertised, but there's no transparency. So you don't know it was hit. That's why I like, if you're going to build a mystery product like that, you have to do one of two things: build them all at once. You cannot build them periodically.
Sell them all at once.
They have to be sold at once. Now, you can be selling a advertised dollar amount, like you're guaranteed 90% or whatever, but guaranteed 90% when? Guaranteed 90% of what? If you tell me card ladder, I could agree with that. If you tell me 90% of trust me, bro, I find the highest possible sale at a buy it now, and I never take low list or never take low auctions, I don't like that. That's personal, right? So a lot of it's personal, but like all mystery products have to be sold at once, or they need to go to a third party verifier. Like at eBay, it's like, eBay, here's my list. You be the third party verification, everything that I say in the values that I state. But you know what? eBay needs to have a way to verify those prices, and they're probably going to use a card ladder S type service. And I agree with that. That's what I agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of that conversation just comes down to digital versus physical. There can't be any transparency on a physical product the way that inherently you can do with digital. But yeah, it's a very timely discussion, right? Because eBay just recently put out that information. I think it's like next month. I think it's next month sometime that they're really revamping their mystery product rules. PSA for a while now has offered that repacking service. And it'll be interesting to see how all that goes.
With all like whatnot, like repacks and mystery products, like I have not, and I've never been, and I don't. And like, I trust a lot of the people that are building some of the repacks. I don't like the trust me, bro, as like a broad thing. Like you can't do. And then the conversation needs to be had, and the conversation would need to be transparently. Okay. You build stuff in small batches. You need to let us know, when was the big hit? Was it hit in the first case? Was it hit in the last one? Was it hit in the second to last one? And then there would be a ton of conversations to be had about that. It's like, when did the big hit get, or the big chase get hit? And then if they're not publicly transparent with that, forward facing, it's one, if it's very early on, like that's really sketchy, because now it brings every sold item from that point on into question, because now you're selling a chance that doesn't exist. And then if it was hit at the end, it brings up the other aspect of, yes, obviously anything could be random if it's the last big hit. But, you know, it's just like, I don't like that. I don't want that to even be a possibility. And like, it's just, that was the problem I had with like Zach, when Zach made his mystery product. Like, I think you have one in the background. Like, I love the thought of a first edition CGC 10 Charizard being in there, but it was just like, when did it get sent out? Because the worst thing a mystery prep pack could have happen from a selling aspect is for the big hit to be hit, right? Because then nobody's going to want to buy it because the chase is gone.
I lost it. I don't know where I put it. one interesting conversation you could tie that into is like the One Ring. Remember all the time that the conspiracy theories were there? Oh, it's not going to be hit for a year. They're going to put it in the product very late, so that they guarantee that like they sell tons of product. And then it got hit like super early on. That was. It's funny how the tinfoil hats will go. Anecdotally, we've had some big streams with Fanatics where we had some grails in there. Ponga hit like the biggest grail on that anniversary stream in like the 8th pack or whatever, and then it just killed sales for the rest of the night.
And the thing about these digital inscripts, like I can't do it, but like Galaxy can, the tech guys at Fanatics can, they can go in and they could actually see the true odds. Like they're able to see the back end data and they're able to like interpret, and like it's third party verified in a way, you know, like is it in fact truly random? And like these products are, you know, like I think that's and I don't know how to do that. That's like beyond like my tech capabilities, but I know that's possible. And like I'm fine with mystery product if 100% of the print run is printed at once, or like 100 gets put out, because I know that, and then they could all spread out at once. But small batches are scary to me. And like that's why one of the reasons I don't want to do the PK mystery packs anymore too, because it just seems like there's just too much that could go on. Because one of the things I learned, I mixed up all my packs, but one of the things I learned from making mystery packs, that if I wanted to, I 100% could have controlled when the hits went out or when they didn't go out. And like I could have sent out one chase instead of having 2 get sent out, and I would have been right within the average. Or I could have had none of my chases or grails go out because all 100 packs didn't get sold, and I would have just said, well, mathematically there was only 5 chases, 20 packs got sold, it didn't get out,
the remaining ones are juiced. And
exactly. Or like the big hit hasn't been hit or whatever, and like I could pump that in a way that would be nefarious. And like I'm just very hyper aware of this type of stuff.
I remember Pokemon Saves the World. This was like 5 years ago. This is ancient history, but that box was insane. I bought a base, a shadowless, and a first edition booster pack in a box break, and so did Nick. I actually bought 2 and I sold him into one of them. But the base first box, that got down to where there were like 9 packs left, and like 7 of them were hollows. The back end weighting of that box, and I remember hearing some content, reading some forum posts, watching some YouTube videos where people were like, that was by design and that was a scam, and that was all people were feeding the good hits to their buddies. And I was there. They put these balls in a cage, and somewhere in my PC I still have my little bingo ball for whatever number that I got. I saw the packs come out of the box and get randomized. I saw the bingo balls going, and like that was just crazy odds on how stacked the back end of the box was. And we last year, January, we did base, and in February we did jungle, and so on. Some of those boxes we came out of the gates hot, and we pulled a couple hollows, and then the sale prices went lower. And then some of those boxes we went out like fairly cold and non-hollow, and then the prices started going up. And
I don't know if you remember our first edition Team Rocket box. Do you remember we had the option to ship sealed on those, and the first couple people ship sealed?
Because those ones are sketchy weight-wise, yeah.
The very first heavy sealed pack that sold was the first edition Dark Charizard, because they did end up opening it, and that's what was in there. And we would have, in theory, opened that in the very first. That would have been our first hollow hit, would have been a Dark Charizard, but instead we didn't.
We would have gotten thousands less on the box just by chance that individual chose to have it shipped sealed instead.
Exactly.
It's
that's different, because that's not something you're building. Does that make sense? Like, my thing is like, I just don't like a product that is sold, and you can, but see, I'm not making the argument that the items are not in the product at some point. If you can't tell me when, and if you can't tell me, and I just don't like the thought of like selling an item that I know for a fact, like a chase card, which is on the box, with 100% guarantee cannot be there because it was pulled 2 months ago. I don't like that. Like, I would never want to sell a Insta Rip where I know that the grail has already been hit, but I'm going to advertise it. Does that make sense?
And one thing that solves a bunch of that, and I don't know, it would be an interesting conversation to have with him, but I remember the PokeRev packs where he had like the crystal or the diamond rarity or whatever, 1 in 1,000 odds to have a base first pack. So doing the math on that, he had 36,000 packs in that run. He's operating at such a scale. Did he just sell out 36,000 in one go? Or did he split it into like 6 waves of 6,000? And did he ensure that 6 packs? I would like logistically, all the math behind it, all the logistics, it would be really interesting. Like in a perfect world, you would operate at such a scale that you drop 36,000 packs at once and they all sell out and you ship them all day one. Mathematically and due to the scale, I'm sure that he has not tracked down all 36 base first packs. Some of those are probably still sealed, but that is like an interesting demonstration of the fact that like no one individual inherently can ever know at that scale. You're never going to track down all 36,000 owners and, well, what did you pull? And you're not going to find the 36 people that opened the base first pack. But yeah, like if he sold them in batches of 6,000 packs with perfect mixing, theoretically there's some percent chance he would have no way of knowing this, but like he could have sold all 36 crystal packs in the first 30,000 sales. And then,
I mean, mathematically speaking, he could have sold them all in the first 36 sales. Like there is a number, but like, but like the thing is he doesn't know that because he's not actively opening his own product.
And at that scale, it's a lot cleaner at that scale. And with that, 36 are the same Omega Grail rarity. Whereas with the small batch, 100 card batch, you have one singular specific thing. Having 10 Gray Felt Hat PSA 10s at a larger scale would be better than having one at a small scale. At least from the perspective of what we're talking about right now. And at scale, you'll never know. And that's why obviously we sell them. So like we're biased, whatever, but, digital where it's all verified, it's all vaulted in Fanatics vault. And when they're pulled and you can see who pulled it, when they pulled it.
And and the prices are third party card ladder. Like there is no, trust me, bro, nothing's based off of highest
instant
comps,
buybacks
sales,
as a percentage
multiple
of that.
Platforms. We ignore the low sales on the low platforms. We only find the high sales. Like everything is just the price is there and this is what's used. Like this is how it's sourced. I like the thought of that. It's a lot cleaner to me.
Yeah.
But like that was that's just kind of my thought.
Good time to shout it out, but
and you can give me any pushback on anything I said, like anything you don't agree with, or like play the devil.
Oh no,
like I'm fine with hearing it.
No, I mean my analogy to like the PokeRev packs is all I would say, and there's gonna be times where say you make 100 of them, some amount of people keep those sealed probably. Some amount of those people don't have them open on stream, so like inherently you won't always be able to know. But those times that you do know, like what do you do? So say you make a run of 150 packs of 5 slabs a pack or whatever, and PSA 9 Gray Felt Hat, PSA 10 Gray Felt Hat is the grail for that batch. If you pull that in the first one, the odds are 1 in 150 that you'll pull that in the first one, right? What do you do with the remainder? Galaxy Growls, he closes the pack, he recycles it, he re-rolls it. Fanatics too. If people aren't buying it and it sits stale, Fanatics closes the pack, they recycle, they pop in new Grails, and they re-roll it. What do you do with a physical repack? Day one, stream one, you might say like, hey, 10 minutes ago, a guy pulled the Gray Felt Hat, a guy pulled the Gray Felt Hat. The next day, a week later, are you still selling from the same batch? Are you putting a banner on the screen that says like the Gray Felt Hat's gone? I don't know the answers to those questions, but like morally, reasonably, if that's pulled out of the first one, you should give that disclaimer. Whereas the physical.
But see, some people are going to say you don't have to. Like, I think you would. But the problem is the bigger that pool of people is, like, who knows? Like,
and that's where scale
my
helps.
problem is, if it's a small batch, you know, with 100% certainty if it is or is not in there. You could control when that does or does not get released. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I just don't like the thought of being able to have that kind of control over when during a run that the hits are released. And again, it goes back to what I didn't like about that first edition, because there was no third-party verification, and it was down to, and it's not saying that it won't be there. I'm not saying that. It's just, I can't tell you that it's in the first wave. I can't tell you if it's in the second. And like, and what happens if it is in the last? Like, what's worse? Is it worse for it to be the first card pulled, or is it worse for it to be the last batch pulled? I don't know. Like, do you know?
This says lottery tickets don't tell you if the chase was hit or not. Why should Pokemon sellers? I think some scratch offs actually do. I think some scratch offs like pull the remainder once the top $1 million for life or 20,000 a week for life, whatever these things are. I think some of them do pull the remainder of a run. I could be wrong there though. I'm not a scratch off buyer. I'm more of a blackjack guy, but I'm not positive on that. It's all an interesting conversation, though. One thing I will say, though, all this talk of mystery packs, all this talk of stuff.
It's crazy that was just. I like the thought that it was just compared to a scratch-off ticket buying a mystery pack. That's it. That alone is an interesting conversation.
But tomorrow at 6 p.m., I don't know if we will be live right at 6 p.m. when they drop. Super Grail Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. There's a PSA 10 Full Art Mario Pikachu going to be available in Fanatics Instant Rips, and there's a PSA 10 Full Art Luigi Pikachu, which I may or may not have handled directly and sold into Fanatics to be put into that product. So yeah, there's coming in the coming weeks, in the coming months, there's going to be some big cards coming through the pipeline. And the way that Fanatics has been doing it too, again, third-party verified. They're not setting the values. They're using Card Bladder, widely accepted. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they're using third-party values. And there's going to be some massive PSA 10 Gold Stars, massive PSA 10 base set first edition cards, massive ponchos coming in the coming weeks. Very, very excited for some of the Instant Rips offerings. 100% of Card Ladder value. Sometimes you can add on fan cash promos, and there have been times, and this goes for like Galaxy Grails too, due to the digital nature, if and when 10 packs get pulled that don't have a chase or a grail, you started at 100% EV. There are times you're at 105, 110, 115% EV. A savvy buyer kind of gamifying it and only buying into like a hotter pool. I mean, you can really, always set a budget. You are gambling to some extent. Like, I'm not trying to like go get you to gamble. Do it cautiously, but at times you can do it with the odds in your favor. Which ripping booster packs, ripping booster boxes, like you're very rarely, if ever, going to have a statistical, like profit potential like that. And one thing we did on like Pokemon Day, we had 100 packs, and a PSA 9 Shadowless Charizard was within those packs. We let all 100 sell out, and then we started opening. So like I forget where we opened that. Did we open that like the 50th one or the 60th one? I don't really remember when that got opened. But like everyone had a chance until it got opened, and it's like the remainder people didn't have a chance anymore. They had to watch their pack get opened, knowing that it wasn't going to be that. But like when they bought it, they had that 1 in 100 chance of getting it.
So yeah, at the time of buying it, the chance was there. It was advertised as a Shadowless PSA 10 or PSA 9, right? What was it?
Yep, PSA 9. Yeah, PSA 9 was worth about 10
grand. It was advertised at you have a chance to pull it.
Yep, and if it sells out, someone will pull it guaranteed. someone did pull it.
And the way that Fanatics Insta Rips work is it's not when the card is pulled, it's gone. Your card is locked in at the point of sale. Yeah. So when that buyer, even though he was opened up like the 61st person, he could have been the last person to buy. He could have been the first person to buy. We just go in order. We just went down in line 1 through 100, but your card is locked in at the time of sale. And without knowing if that card was sold or not, like I don't feel bad about selling all 100 spots because until spot 100 was sold, I could not say with a definitive guarantee that that card had already been locked in on one of those spots. I honestly did not know.
Yeah, and the same thing would go spots. For, like, say, Milky Bags. I don't even know if Milky Bags are still a thing, but if you have 50 mystery packs, and hey, if these all sell out on a stream, someone will guaranteed pull them. If 100 people buy 100 mystery bags, and they all sell out, and then you start ripping. Well, once the second one gets opened, the other ones all had the same fair chance to get it. It's just the second one got it, and you continue ripping them. Like it's not as if their chance goes away. Their chance was at the time that they bought, and then everything else was just revealing what was already set in the whole
cannot guarantee that at the time of purchase that the chase exists. That's where my pushback is, because
that's actually one thing though. Like, he's a competitor, he's a friend, but like to shout out Galaxy Grails, functionally the way that his works, say you have 50 packs and it's 1,000 a pack, and there's one that's a PSA 9 Shadowless Charizard. If you have a queue of 15 people that bought into it, and you start opening, and the fifth person opens it, 10 people will be refunded. And like he will actually go back in, and if the EV gets below, I forget what the percentage threshold is. I don't know if he's in here to pump his own service here, but he will actually give people money back because and the way that Fanatics works is like if you're concerned about
they're
that,
constantly restocking those on the back end.
And if you're concerned about it, you could just not buy into a long queue, and you could wait for the queue to unfurl. And then, hey, there's no queue. Buy that $1,000 one and either get or don't get the Mario or Luigi Pikachu. But yeah, I mean, I've got to give props where props are due. I've got to shout out Galaxy. Like he will actually. I don't think there's another product out there that will refund a queue of people who already gave money if and when the EV dips below a certain number. That is pretty innovative and wild what he does there. Not my numbers to share. I've talked with the Galaxy privately quite a bit. I know a decent bit of his financial setup and math behind his product there. He's doing well, I will say. He doing
buys
well.
Back at 90%, right? Is it 90%?
85. He does 85. Last I knew.
Fanatics is 90.
Yep. So he does buy back at a little bit lower. But again, like I think there's pros and cons to Galaxy Grails versus Instant Rips. I think if I were a consumer, I would probably buy both to some extent.
What does he use? Is it card ladder? He uses card ladder?
He uses card ladder as well. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
The biggest way that Fanatics can win is that if you do Fanatics Instant Rips at a high level, it's not a super public thing, and I wish it would be a little bit more public. There are some crazy fan cash offers. So like I'm wearing a shirt that I think came from Fanatics. If you buy merch, obviously the markup, the margin on a t-shirt they're selling for $20 is high. If I buy a t-shirt in the Fanatics store, I probably get 10% fan cash. That's not something that they always allow, and that's something they rarely allow. I'm like buying Instant Rips, buying on Fanatics Collect, but occasionally they will run a promo where they have a 100% EV pack, and if you spend $1,000, you get $100 fan cash. If you spend $10,000, you get $1,000 fan cash. So if the underlying EV is 100%, and you get a 10% bonus, and you get 2% credit card rewards, you could spend 10 grand and lose. You could just get slightly unlucky, but like the edge is in your favor, mathematically at certain times with Fanatics, and same thing goes for Galaxy Grails too.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, too, I always tell people when they buy on InstaRips, I tell them, I say, they're like, is it good value? I said, look at the checklist. Like, I tell people, look at the bases before you look at the grails and the chases. Like, I like the vintage packs. Why? Because if I hit like a vintage base, I don't hate it. Like some of these modern ones, like it's all depends on the person,
Yeah, you can see the floor, you can see the average, you can see the grails. It's
yeah. And Fanatics, you don't pay
product.
sales tax if you're not tax exempt. Is Galaxy Grails doing no sales tax on purchases? Because all purchases are through the vault.
Yeah, I don't know how Galaxy Grails works with sales tax exemptions. I don't know if he accepts them or not.
So you don't have to be sales tax exempt because it gets sent immediately to your vault, which your vault is located in Oregon through Fanatics. So
maybe that's a way. I can't speak to the Galaxy Grails side, but that might be a clear win for if you're in Delaware, if you're in New Hampshire, if you're in one of the sales tax exempt states, it's not that relevant to you. You could shop on Galaxy Grails and not. He has the PSA vault though. His is all out of the PSA vault, so it's probably no sales tax.
Is your PSA vault your shipping address then? Do you have to have a PSA vault address in order to participate? Because
I don't
Fanatics,
think so.
Everyone has a vault address. Like it's an instant. Once you create an account, even if you didn't set it up or anything, you instantly have that vault address.
I'm not a super good at tech guy, but I think the way that he has it, I think you almost have like a Galaxy Vault as far as I understand. And you can fulfill from your Galaxy Vault or you can sell it back to him.
So it's his vault. It's like a vault inside his vault. So he's using his vault as the custodial vault and then through the account. Okay, that makes sense. I guess it's probably cleaner that way.
Yeah. And again, like there's pros and cons to each. I think he's got a great product. I think we have a great product too. And every Friday at 6 p.m., that's the key time. There's going to be some massive drops in the coming weeks. I forget how much I'm allowed to say and how much I'm not allowed to say, but we're after 1 a.m. on a Thursday night. There's going to be some crazy stuff. Follow the socials, do all the things. I need to be better about posting on the socials. One thing that Fanatics has coming too is most of the packs will be stocked to about 90-100% EV. He called them power hours. There's going to be certain times with certain products where it might be a $500 pack and it will have 90-100% EV. There's going to be a power hour where a certain flash time, if you're there at the right time, the price of a $500 pack will just drop for an hour to $400. So like, again, it's a product we're selling. It's a product we make money off selling. But due to the fact that the cards are sourced for under 100%, they have the ability to actually provide over 100% EV and actually still make money. Compared to booster packs that we rip all the time too, 20% EV on some sets, 40%, 50% EV on some sets. It's wild the way in which these digital slab packs have kind of like reinvented parts of the hobby. And it's funny too, the whole morality police. Some people get really down on all that and they think people shouldn't be able to do that. Whereas Pokemon the core product in the hobby is a booster pack, which is mystery, which is gambling fundamentally. They're not attributing any values to these things, but nor is Fanatics. It's all equally agreed upon values by the market, pushed through by car ladder value.
Yeah. Well, the thing about a pack is you're buying a pack, but you know with 100% that the chase could be in the pack. It could be.
Yeah.
Every time you open up a Pokemon pack, without a doubt, 100% of the time, you know that pack could have, name the set. You open up a Bob and Skies, it 100% could have a Moonbrew on it. 100% of the time.
Unless it
won't be there.
Scanner.
But it always could be there. Yeah, well, except for like you're scanning a $20 or $30 pack with a $75 scan service.
That's where instant rips, that's where these digital things beat physical, because like you can know unequivocally if you're on Galaxy Grails and that Grail is there, like you can hit it. That Galaxy Grail was not CT scanned. That instant rip was not CT scanned. It's
the instant rip, you know for a fact, you could see the checklist. You're like, okay, there I will not see a card in this instant rip that is not on this checklist. That's the difference.
Yep.
Where that's why I like the full transparency. And then with Pokemon, I like the mystery of it because it is the true chance that you are guaranteed G-word that it could be the hit. I like that too.
And in a perfect world, like I wish it was the case where packs were never weighable, packs were never CT scannable. Like I wish that you could go all the way back to base set and you could buy any pack and just have those true fair odds. 1 in 45 to pull a Charizard, 1 in 3 to pull a holo. I wish that was a thing, but like it's not. It never has been. It never can be. That's just the world that we live in. But yeah. Anything else you want to chat about, or we're coming up on 3 hours? We're after 1 a.m. I'm ready to call it whenever you are. Yeah. I think that's a good spot to call it. As always, appreciate everyone being here. I don't know if you have anything you want to shout out. Tomorrow night, you won't be live right at 6 p.m., I don't think, but go chase full art Mario Pikachu. Go chase full art Luigi Pikachu, PSA 10s tomorrow night with PK.
6 p.m. it starts?
6 p.m. is when it starts, yeah.
I might try. It'll be tough. But I will have Chaos Rising tomorrow night, which is going to be tricky to have an Insta Rip with a big new set release. Mega stream on May 30th. We're going to try to push over $100,000, mainly sealed product, really now. A bunch of slabs too. And then I'm going to talk to Dan. I'm going to try to do a singles mega stream coming up. It's going to be separate than our normal, and it's going to be a 12 to 14 hour stream that I'm talking to Dan about just singles. So the reason we don't do singles during our mega stream is because it's just a time issue, because you got to show the front and the back of every card, and just it adds up when you're only live for like 6-8 hours.
Yes, it does. But yeah, once again, thanks everyone for being here. As always, thanks PK for coming on. We will catch you all later.